Yay. We are live, it reckons. Welcome to the Out There channel, live stream 452, and we're an hour behind schedule. Oh, that's loud. Okay, what's going on there?
Hiding, I'm searching, I'm loving, I'm finding love, I'm hiding, I'm searching,
Does it sound
I'm
right?
loving, I'm finding love.
Dark side. Let the fate control your body. In the beginning, there was written.
Follow me, hiding, I'm searching, I'm loving, I'm finding.
Yeah. The men in black have been trying to get me all morning. It's always trying to stop us two, me and Rob, getting together, I think. Doesn't like us two together for some reason. The powers to be are trying to sabotage us all the time. Good to be back. So we updated the browser to get the webcam stuff going. I'm not sure if it's a security update and they disabled the other browsers working. But now that introduces new problems with my plugins disappearing. And yeah, we have to look into that another time. But it looks like we got it working, I think. Cause how's it sounding out there? Say something there, Robert?
All good to me.
What was that noise we just heard?
That was me trying to get onto the YouTube. That's all.
Right.
Don't worry about them.
I thought it was a man in black breaking into our live stream. So who we got with us? We got Jasper and Michael. Thanks for joining us. I know we probably lost a few people along the way with the delay. So yeah, even if you start an hour before the show, or if you start prepping before the show, a good half an hour, sometimes it can take a lot longer to fix a Microsoft update or Google update, or in this case, Jitsi update. But we might be alright from now on, hopefully. So, yeah, must get stuck into it, I guess, when you're ready, Robert.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Okay. Do you want to start off by telling me what happened with all this kerfuffle with Carl Korff and that in the last episode, because I just haven't had time to catch up with it.
Well, after Michael Horn was on GUFONs show,
that's all.
Yeah, I forgot to get a drink too. I might have to sneak off.
Sure, that's okay.
I got some stuff in my mouth I need to wash down. What happened is Michael Horn approached GUFON saying, will he do an interview? And he said yes, right? And then it didn't go too well. He started insulting the people in the side chat and GUFON's show, which he doesn't like. And he wasn't answering the questions, he was avoiding the questions. So a few days go past, and suddenly I get a Twitter thing saying New Zealand's gonna blow up with volcanoes soon. Maybe you've changed your mind about Billy Meyer case. I'm just seeing if you want to do an interview or something like that. And it was some sort of weird intro anyway on the direct message. So I said, I'm still having a wee bit problem with my computer at the moment. Maybe we can do it in the new year. after I'm sure everything's stabilized, because I know we're having a problem with your show last time, and of course today is the example of what happens. So they were mucking around with the code back then, I think. But anyway, I said to him, "Oh, let's do a text-based interview on Twitter, and we'll get a base understanding of you and whether the live face-to-face will work, because you know how Michael Horn is, he doesn't listen, and he gets very upset."
Apparently so, yeah.
So in the end, he ended up insulting me and saying that he's the supreme leader of all UFO content. Like he kept referencing Norway, saying he was the I can't remember the sentence now. It was fresh in my mind before all the stress happened with the computer. He's the number one authority on all things UFO, is what Norway called him. So now he quotes Norway.
He actually is. He's absolute nobody. His name is only brought up for a laugh. Let's face it, in UFO circles.
Yeah. So I thought I'd give him a chance to see whether he had his own sightings, and he apparently had 8 sightings of his own, which I thought was more interesting than Billy Meyer's. And I thought, well, maybe we can talk about your sightings rather than Billy Meyer, and why you didn't take any photographs and stuff like that. But that's where I was going to head with him, and then start looking at Billy Meyer stuff at the end, which normally I would debunk because it's so obvious, you know, that it's faked.
Oh, good God. Why isn't that guy being just condemned to history? You know, I really don't know why people are still talking about him. There's so much evidence that the evidence is overwhelming that he hoaxed a ton of stuff. So how can you believe anything else that's left over? You can't.
No, you can't. Plus, he kept going on about 200 prophecies that Billy Meyer predicted, and I said, well, even I've done predictions that come true. You know, it depends how genuine we're going to make it. It's going to be an earthquake next year, you know. You know, that sort of thing, you know. You know there's going to be an earthquake because there's earthquakes every day. You just don't feel them. But, we knew there's going to be... We're in the time of the big earthquakes because it started, you know, back in New Zealand, and it sort of kicked off... Well, actually, Japan first, wasn't it? Then South America, then New Zealand, and it went around. So it's going around in a circle again. So where's the volcano at the top of the Ring of Fire now, isn't it? Way at the top. So it'll probably be coming back around again. And then Australia got
I don't know, but as far as I'm concerned, most of these things are predictable anyway, especially in certain parts of the world. So,
well, they've just got one earthquake in Australia, which is abnormal. So, but it's it's still close to the Ring of Fire, but it's a fair distance away. But this proves that the plate tectonics are still moving, and the continents are moving, even though the big landmass. And that's why you're getting the boom sounds in America at the moment. All that continent is moving still. Same as Australia is. So all these smaller islands, like New Zealand, that are moving faster, probably. I'm not sure how many inches out would be, but I know when we had the last earthquake at Kaikoura, the land actually rose up 1.5 meters, and the shoreline, there was all these fish and things trapped, and they had to go and rescue them, lobsters and crayfish and all that sort of stuff, you know, and they had to put it in there so to lose all their fish stocks, for, you know, because they get a lot of crayfish here, and tourists eat them like crazy, and they cost like $40 and all that sort of stuff. But but anyway, in the end, he ended up blocking me after insulting me. So I decided to read out all his direct messages, what actually happened. But I was willing to give him a chance, and I thought he was pretty brave to come to me, of all people, because you know what I'm like when I expose liars and frauds. So I thought, yeah, okay, he's brave enough to try and get an interview with me. So let's do it correctly and actually do it professionally. And we'll try and break down the Billy Nye thing because it's so big and it's like a big spider web. And you got to start it off in chunk sizes, small chunks.
I know, Paul. I just need to go to the bathroom. I'll be back in 2 seconds. Okay.
Yeah, so do I actually. I just need to get a drink. We'll just be back in a minute, guys. Let's see. I should have some music. Break time. Let's see if it crashes the computer anyway. I haven't done
You
that
are
one for a long
listening
time.
to the Out There Channel.
I think it's too loud. I'm not sure. We'll be back in a minute.
Searching for the truth behind the UFO phenomena.
Hey, we're back.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit loud, but I'm not sure.
It was well loud, mate. I had to turn it down. I'm glad you're back, so I can actually turn the volume back up now.
I'm not too sure why it's louder, that one. I know I have set some volume controls to halve it anyway.
Yeah. Listen, can I just address Dan's question here about Josh Coulthard? Because I've been following this guy closely ever since he burst onto the scene. Now, when he first came on the scene, I thought this guy's going to be an asset to the community. Now I'm really not sure. Listen, I'll tell you why. He's gone really big into the Lazar story. He's gone really big into Aztec, UFO crash at Aztec 1948. Well, I can tell you, that is a complete nonsense created by a bunch of two con men. Pentyrch incident is another one he's looking at. And that is more of a nonsense than Lazar and the Aztec case put together. And he's quoting hearsay left, right, and centre. Now, I'm only hoping that he does look into these cases and he comes to the conclusion, like myself at least, and Paul, that what he's been fed a bunch of crap, basically. There's nothing to those cases. So, I'm just hoping he goes that way and he doesn't get too sucked in. Otherwise, he's just going to be a big target for disinformation. But yeah, I'm sure he's got the research skills to come to the same conclusions. Paul, you're breathing very heavily there, and it's coming over on the microphone, you know.
It might be on yours only, though.
I hope
How's
so.
There's not much I can do. My nose keeps blocking up on me, mate.
Oh, hell yeah, okay. Yeah, you do sound a little bit nasal today, I must say.
If I push the mic too far away, the volume might drop down too much for people to hear me.
You know, I can also say another thing with Ross Coulthard now. It's been picked up. It's been picked up on in the UFO community. You know, between the more hardcore skeptical type of ufologist, like your David Greenwoods and your Jan Aldridge, they're all over him for this. You know, they don't like the way he's going at all. And he's become like this almost. He's on every podcast.
So you're talking about
stuff about all these whistleblowers that he's met, and I'm really not sure why everyone's coming to him with this mind blowing.
Are you talking about Carl?
We're talking about Ross Coulthard, Paul.
Oh, because Carl seems to be debunking left, right, and centre now too. That Carl was just coming up with. Carl seems to enjoy debunking everything now, from what I'm seeing.
Oh, I don't know who Carl is.
Carl Korff.
Oh, Carl Korff. Well, I wanted to talk about him first up, to be honest.
Okay.
And the Betty and Barney Hill case. Well, he released a documentary about Betty and Barney Hill quite recently. It wasn't a documentary. My apologies. It was a podcast. Now, what he does, the podcast goes on for about 1 hour 45. In the first hour, he smashes the star map, the Betty and Barney Hill star map to pieces. Good job. That Betty and Barney Hill star map has been proved now to be complete rubbish. The telescopes are more powerful now. The actual star system was nothing like she actually drew under regression, nothing like it at all. Unfortunately, people like Stanton Friedman and Kathleen Marden still backing it. You know, Stan backed it until he died. Kathleen Marden is still backing it, and it really has no scientific value at all now. It's rubbish. But now that still doesn't detract from the whole story. This is what annoys me about Carl. What he starts doing then is attacking the witness. And he said, Betty Hill seen 2 ghosts and seen numerous UFOs after the event, and she's just nuts and blah, blah, blah. So I had a little confrontation with him on Facebook group, and, it didn't really come to any good end. But once Carl starts debunking something, he won't stop. And if he can't attack the data, he'll attack the witness, and that's unfortunate.
The star map never mattered anyway.
No, it didn't matter. No, it was really no part. I'll tell you what.
You don't know what perspective the map is looking from their planet, or from our planet, or from another location in the Milky Way, or whatever. We don't know what stars we're looking at. I thought it was always a hopeless case. Someone tried their best to try and work out the location, and obviously it got wrong because new information come in, which changed all the location that she was looking at 3-dimensionally. She actually put she put stars on little spheres hanging from the ceiling to try and see it from their perspective, I suppose. But yeah, you don't do that now. Obviously, you use AI and computers. Put all the stars in and see if you can come up with a pattern match. I don't know if anyone's done that, but that would be a good project for To the Stars, stuff like that, with people that could actually verify cases, and actually spend the money in the correct location to do new research.
Yeah, but I think we can both agree that star map doesn't prove anything, Paul.
No. But it would have been nice.
Of course it would. There would have been some kind of physical proof for once, because you don't generally get that.
So you can't debunk the whole story, just the one item, which was... did you get it from Hypnosis when she drew it down or something, or after?
Yes, it was. Oh God, years after the events, it was drawn under Hypnosis. Yeah, Succession.
But he was saying other things though about it on GUFON. GUFON now believes them that Betty and Barney Hill was rubbish. That's how easy convinced that guy is. Last night he was slanging off Betty and Barney Hill, and he says, they didn't meet aliens, they met the KKK, and changed the story. That's what he was saying last night. GUFON.
Who said that? Oh, GUFON. He's just a complete and utter buffoon. God sakes, I don't even know what I'm talking about him. He'll say anything. Honest to God, I don't think he knows what he's going to say next, you know?
Correct.
I don't think he knows what he's going to say next. And I don't think he remembers half of what he says.
His new theory is they met KKK or people in hoods on the way there, and they took him out the car and did things to him. And they said, if you repeat it, we'll come and burn your house down or something, you know. And so they said, if you're going to tell a story, just tell them you got abducted. So that's a new story from GUFON. That'll be going around now. We can just make up shit in the UFO field and people believe it, you know.
So this is Cal Korff for you now. So anyway, I messaged him after that podcast he done, and I've said this I've addressed Cal, and I've said, I never did buy that star map business. However, Betty being a bit batty, especially in her later years, is not sufficient for me to dismiss the entire case. So it's good point, I think. And then he comes back at me and he says, it wasn't just that. She also saw ghosts and other things during her years she was deemed credible. Now, hold on. So what? I've seen a couple of ghosts. Yeah. I've had a few paranormal experiences. Does that mean my UFO sighting is complete and utter bunk? Because I happen to see a couple of ghosts as well. So anyway, I responded to Cal Korff and I've said, I've seen ghosts on 2 occasions. Maybe I should leave that out when I file my UFO report. And he's got no response to that, has he? That was the last of it. What a stupid thing to say. But you see what I mean now? If you've seen a couple of ghosts, oh well, you've got to be nuts. Yeah. Your UFO case, that's out the window too now. Come on. Hey, don't work like that.
Although paranormal could be linked to some alien cases, you know, and maybe the alien visit always comes after the paranormal.
Yeah, we don't know that.
We're still researching it.
We're still researching that, yes.
No, if you get enough people saying, oh, the aliens come after my paranormal experience, if you've got enough people saying that, then you could say, no, well, there's some sort of connection there, and why are the aliens showing up after the paranormal? Are they sort of like Ghostbusters doing a cleanup of a site where some sort of multi-dimensional beings broken, and they've got to clean up the scene and make sure no one's getting infected, you know, because they talk about ghosts attaching to people. So it's possible.
But there's no question there's a physical aspect to UFOs. I mean, if you don't believe that, just go and have a look at Ted Phillips' work and over 4,000 cases with trace evidence. These things leave a physical footprint behind. Now, ghosts, you can generally hear them. Sometimes I heard it once, thud, thud, thud down the stairs. There's no footprints. There was no physical evidence. With UFOs, it can be different. People have had psychological effects, physiological effects. You know, all kinds of injuries, burns, all kinds of injuries. Yeah, and
Yes.
those cases are quite often not very well publicised.
No. Hello, Dan. How's it going?
Yeah, so Dan's talking about here, I think he means Richard Dolan, who's put out a book that lists different types of aliens, seems to imply that they are good and bad aliens. What do you think about that? I tell you what, Dan, I'll tell you what I think about that. I think it's bullshit. I mean, has Richard Dolan got an intergalactic fucking aliens on speed dial or something to talk to them about this? Of course he hasn't. He hasn't got a clue. He put that book out and he did a lecture on the same thing. Yeah, and he charged money. He charged like $100 for that lecture, which is pure speculation. Pure speculation. He charges $100 for it. No, thank you, Mr. Dolan. I'll keep my money, thanks, because you haven't got a effing clue, pal. You don't have a clue. None of us have a clue what we're dealing with here.
He's only guessing.
Of course he is. He'll call it an educated guess, yeah. Reminds me of that guy, really does. Anyway, rant's over.
What else did Carl say? He said you were seeing lights in the sky and not UFOs.
Yeah.
But we don't know what the lights in the sky are. It could have been planes. It could have been UFOs. Who knows?
Yeah. A lot of people, even people who were friendly with her at the time and are closely associated with her, kind of said, Betty, look, there's probably a logical explanation for a lot of these things you're seeing,
Yeah.
And she kind of backed away a bit towards the end of her life as well. But yeah,
it's just, I think it's normal. Everyone always looking up the sky after definitely had a sighting of some sort or a visitation, right? And you're always looking, and you look more than normal, probably.
Yeah, I think you're quite right there, Paul. You are going to be more inclined to look up because there's something there now. It's real.
What they say, the psychiatrist or something, this is what Carl Korff is saying, said that they were actually dreaming it all, not actually happened to them. So how does he know that? That's this opinion of one.
Oh. Yeah.
I think you have to watch the GUFON episode where Carl's on and have a listen to what he was saying. You'll be disgusted. You'll be swearing at the screen, basically.
Yeah. That's why I try and avoid Paul, to be honest, because it's not very good for my mental health when you listen to people like that, because they've obviously got the screw loose, and there's something very vindictive about both of those guys. Don't believe me, I'll say it to their face as well. Very vindictive, and just it leaves a bad taste in my mouth, both of them,
I don't think he's heard about the new evidence on Betty and Barney Hill. Ben Hansen got a hold of this new high-tech spectrum analyzer, a portable one.
Yeah, that's right. I'm not too familiar with it myself.
And he scanned the top, and they found a few more holes on it. Plus, they found some fluorescent dye on it, which doesn't look like it's man-made. So, especially not back in that time frame, anyway. So maybe he's totally wrong. The new evidence may actually validate their claim. Obviously, the beings touched the clothing, and of course, GUFON's saying, "Oh, I never heard that before." They had trouble undoing her zipper on the back of her dress. We've heard that aliens have trouble with buttons, maybe because of the fingers. not like ours. But also they have trouble with sippers. So, thinking, well, they're super intelligent. How would they not know how to slide down a sipper? Well, imagine that we're going to another planet and meeting aliens for the first time, and they got some new clothing on. We don't know how it sort of undoes. It might be Velcro. It might be,
the funniest part of it was, but the funniest part of it was they've removed Barney's false teeth, and apparently, according to Betty, who could actually see Barney during the regression, they were bewildered. They couldn't believe that his teeth came out in the alien's hand, and then they moved back to her and started pulling on her teeth. Well, she didn't have dentures, no. So you can imagine the aliens coming to the conclusion that black people have removable teeth and white people don't. Oh my God. I'm taking that back to their planet. I mean, the mind boggles. I mean, I don't know. You see, regression is...
Oh. No. Robert, what's happened? No, it can't be a problem this early. It was working so nice. I don't think it's my end this time, guys. He's still there. I think he's dropped off. Here we go again. I tell you, the powers that be don't want us to talking together for some reason. And, you think we're putting it all on, but we're not. This happens every time so far, since we've been back together again. Should have mentally joined back in. Are you there? Looks like it's back to where it was when I dropped out. Still only one person. You disappeared. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he will. He said he's been having ISP problems for the last week, so he might have to close down Jitsi and restart it so it gets a new sorry, I can't breathe here. Gets a new IP or something. Not sure how they're doing it there. Or port number, probably. I don't think he had the side chat open. Oh, here we go. Did you drop off?
Okay. Yeah, that was my internet connection dropping, Paul. Nothing to do with Jitsi.
That's what I was saying to the guys. We seem to have two of you here for some reason.
Okay, yeah.
Every time that happens, I'll see if I can kick that one out. So let's have a look. Aha. Is it back to normal now, though?
Yeah.
I think it is.
Back to full stream now, so.
There we go. Like I said, the powers to be don't want us to talking. People think we're having them on about Men in Black. But it's quite possible.
Yeah, but my internet connection's been up and down all week, But it's been fine today up until now. So we better get on with it while
we have... That's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. The Men in Black are sitting out there wiggling the wires. While tapping the phone. The internet. They don't like Jitsi because it's a peer-to-peer protocol system which encrypts. So it's very hard for them to connect into probably or break into. But they got supercomputers better than ours anyway, so they might be able to. Yeah. So what were you talking about? I forgot.
Well, we're still on it. We're still on Betty and Barney Hill. So
Yeah, but I can't
do you
remember
know
what we were talking about before it
yeah.
crashed.
Do you know? Yeah, I was actually talking. Oh my God, am I muted?
No.
No. No. Okay. Good.
I,
What I was actually talking about was regression and how hit and miss it can be. It can invoke mismemories, false memories. The trouble with that, if that happens, yeah, you're stuck with those memories. Those memories are real if they're false or not. You've still got to
yeah.
live with them now. They've still happened in your life to you, that they've happened. They're there, even if you think they could be wrong. Those memories are still there. So, but of course, it's been proven to work on many occasions. Now, the most important thing is picking the right person to do the regression. Now, I know with Betty and Barney Hill, of course, there'd been no precursor to abductions at that point in 1961. So the people who were, the guy was one of the top guys in the land who'd done the regression. And he had no background on UFOs, no background on alien life. And he originally decided that after listening to Barney Hill's regression, that it was stress created by an interracial marriage. And then after listening to the second tape, he changed his mind. He said, oh God, whatever this is, this guy really believes it's happened, and he was quite taken back by what was going on.
Is that where Carl's getting that information from about someone food bar and it saying it was just a dream?
No, that's nonsense. But what happened, Paul? Barney, in particular, was getting horrendous nightmares. He couldn't sleep. He was lucky if he was sleeping 2 to 4 hours a night, and that's what persuaded him to try and get to the bottom of what the problem was. And he was seeing aliens and stuff in his dreams, you see. So it wasn't just the regression that brought out the aliens, the alien thing. The kind of memories were already flooding back in his dreams before he got to the regression stage.
I'd say his life would have got worse making this public than keeping it private, because they're a black couple. As soon as they're on TV and you got everyone in the world knowing about you, then phoning you up and hassling you, especially the KKK mentals out there.
Well, fortunately, we didn't have social media then, so they weren't asked too much that way, believe it or not,
Yeah. You'd have to change your phone number for sure, or move or whatever.
Yeah, but Betty was a social worker. Barney Hill was involved in civil rights, and they were both highly respected in their community. And the community never really turned on them. They were quite supportive of them, with a few exceptions, of course.
Right.
But we've got the regression tape here, and you can see up until this is the first regression tape now. And if you want to hear them all, Betty's and Barney's complete, if you go to a channel called Flight 19 YouTube channel, you can find actually, I think the highlights of the entire regression, and they narrow it down to about 4 hours, something like that. But yeah, you've got the best of the stuff on there. But I think we're going to play a little bit of it, aren't we, Paul?
Yep.
Yeah, if you play from about 9 minutes, and you watch it around about 9.5 minutes, it starts to get a little bit ugly. But these are the kind of things that persuaded me to thinking that something really happened here, no question.
The audio is not terribly great. For some reason, they used to have the microphone not attached to him. They used to have it next to him, an old tape deck. And so let's see how well it goes.
Oh, it's all right. You can go right on.
Sorry? It might be too loud. It'll box you out anyway.
Experience it. It will not hurt you
But we have to have it louder so
I
we
got
don't
to
hear
get
it.
my gun. I gotta get my gun. All right. All right. That's all. I gotta get my gun.
Oh,
Go to sleep, Steve.
that sounds scary.
Exactly. Does that sound like somebody making stuff up to you? Putting
That
stuff
seems
on?
like someone that's is run away from a murderer.
Exactly.
Now. Oh, you forgot it now. You've forgotten. Calm now. Relaxed. Deeply relaxed. Deeply relaxed. You will not have to make any outcry. But you can remember it now. Keep remembering. You feel you have to get your gun. This is going to harm you, you felt.
I opened the trunk of my car, and I get it, and I get back in the car.
All right, just keep reasonably calm.
And I put it in my coat, and then I get out with the binoculars, and it is there. And I look, and it shifts over, and I think, I'm not afraid. I'll shoot it down if I'm not afraid. And I walk out, and I walk across the road. There it is up there. Oh, God damn it!
Calm down.
We got a
Calm
plane
down.
flying
It's
overhead.
there. You can see it, but it's not going to hurt you. Go on.
Yeah.
Why doesn't it go away? Look at it. There's a man there.
Calm. It's not going to hurt you.
There's a man there. And the captain, what is he? It's gonna look at me.
Just a minute. Let's go back a little bit now. You say it's there. Did you say it was 1,000 feet away?
Oh no.
1,000 yards?
It doesn't look that far. It's very big. And it's not that
He's
far.
describing the space now.
And
What's that, Robert?
He's describing the spaceship there.
Yeah, so it's very big. So you're saying it's not 1,000 yards away. Not how many feet in a yard?
Good God, 1,000 yards. You're talking 3/4 of a mile. So he's saying it's closer than that.
Yeah, it's right over their heads.
I can see
Well, no, I think
it tilted toward me.
Tilted? What does it look like now when you say tilted? Did you see wings?
Looks like a big pancake with windows and rows of windows and lights.
See, the way he's describing it there is not the typical way that normal people would talk. No, they wouldn't say flying. He didn't say flying saucers. He said it's a big pancake.
Yeah.
So he didn't see a dome at the time, obviously, but
Yeah.
but he saw the
To me,
windows
that
around
adds-
on the rim of it.
Yeah, to me that adds credibility because he's not making it from popular culture.
No, because I don't think there was any
he-
pancake spaceships
Exactly.
or UFOs in
Paul.
1950s, 60 movies. Anyway, they always were rocket shape or most of them were rocket shaped, weren't they? I'm just trying to think how many were UFOs. It wasn't until maybe later on with
well, no,
what do you
this
call
is
it?
1961. The flying saucer. The term was coined in 1947 by Arnold, wasn't it? And then it was 1952 when Edward Ruppelt coined the term UFO. But this is 1961, and he's using neither of those terms.
Yeah, but they're saying that maybe they've been influenced by watching TV movies. But I'm just trying to think, what did they have back in those days? It was a pancake. I don't think there's anything like it, as far as I can remember in sci-fis.
What they tried to blame the aliens on a particular edition of oh my god, what was that old sci-fi series called? Oh yeah, The Outer Limits. Yeah. They said the alien they were describing was similar to something on that there was on an episode of The Outer Limits.
But that flying saucer, I don't think there's anything like it.
Hold on, let me finish. Betty and Barney Hill claimed that they'd never seen that episode. They swore to it. So I really don't know on that one. But come on, I've seen hundreds of aliens on sci-fi movies. I don't see them around every day, you know.
Yeah, I think that, like you said, it adds more credibility to the story that they're actually describing what they're seeing. It sounds nothing like out of the movies so far, anyway.
Of not light, just one huge light, and
rows of windows like a commercial plane.
Rows of windows. They're not like a commercial plane because they curve around to the size of this pancake, and I say, my God, no. I have to shake my head. I got to, it can't be true. This isn't there. It's still there. And I look up and down the road. Can't somebody come and tell me this is not there? It can't be. And
this is the first time I've heard this, actually.
Oh.
You're still asleep, but you can see it all clearly.
It's there.
You sure it's there?
Yeah.
You weren't having a dream?
It's there.
You'd had no sleep that evening?
I touch my right arm. It's not my right, it's my left arm. And then I touch my right arm, and it is my left arm. I'm confused.
You're clear now. You're relaxed.
It's still there. If I let my binoculars fall and dangle from my neck and then start over again, maybe it won't be there. But it is. Why? What do they want? What do they want?
To study you.
One person looks friendly. He's friendly looking, and he's looking at me over his right shoulder, and he's smiling. But that...
Could you see him clearly?
Yes, I thought...
What's his face like? What does it make you think of?
It's round. I think of a red-haired Irishman. I don't know why, but I think I know why. because Irish are usually hostile to Negroes. And when I see a friendly Irish person, I react to it by thinking I will be friendly.
Okay, do you want to pause it there, Paul?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's why you could say some, racial history comes into the regression here.
Mm.
He's seeing something that's potentially hostile, but it's smiling. He relates it to an Irishman, red-haired Irishman, who's usually angry towards black people.
Mm-hmm.
But because he's smiling, and he's probably in the situation where he's compromised, he's deciding to be friendly back. So you could use that as a yay argument or nay argument, if you see what I mean. Are you with me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but for me, it only adds to the authenticity of his recollection. He's describing things in the only way he really knows how.
Did we have pictures of the aliens? Because it's not on this interview, which would have been good if he added some pictures as a token, because that's what I would have done.
Yeah,
Perhaps I should redo the this audio there, make it better, and also add pictures. But Betty Barney aliens. So let's see if it looks like an Irishman. Okay, so it'll be black and white drawing, I guess.
Yeah, just go to images.
Oh,
and,
is that it? What's that one?
I can't see what's on screen.
Artist's impression of aliens. Is it? Let's have a look.
Well,
alright, artist impression of aliens who abducted for a while. Barney and Betty Hill. Okay, so I know she was an artist. Is that her drawings? Betty and Barney Hill case. A Mad Scientist podcast. So when you look at those aliens there, that's what they were seeing. I don't see really human in it. More looks.
Okay, but we hold on a minute. We can't.
Looks more reptilian to me.
Oh, jeez, yeah. I mean that's particularly unpleasant looking image, isn't it? Which kind of okay, with something like that staring back at you, I'm hardly surprised he was screaming.
Kind of looks like a deformed human, that one there, anyway.
Yeah,
and the smiling teeth with the gaps in between.
That's not a Hollywood alien at all, is it?
No. And it looks kind of, the head looks more reptilian to me than human shape.
Yeah, look at the lug hole there. It's just a hole, isn't it? And the nose is just
flat.
Flat
nostrils.
Just nostrils. Yeah, there's no.
We can't see the side view
pronunciation.
there, but on the drawing we can.
Yeah.
Plus, it's got normal eyes too, not all black. So it's not like the normal alien greys. But
no, it's not.
Looks like they got.
Yeah, I see what you mean. There's whites around the eyes, isn't there?
Plus, it's they got grey skin by the looks of it. So maybe they are related to the greys.
I really don't know. That's asked Richard Flaming Dolan, I suppose, to tell us what species they are.
Yeah, I could see why he'd be scared. He thinks
Absolutely.
they're coming to get him to lynch him, right? It's the racial background.
Well, he doesn't make he doesn't draw that conclusion, but he uses it as an analogy.
Yeah. Kind of weird though. The whole hypnosis. Let's keep on listening.
Yeah.
I see this one that is looking over his shoulder is friendly.
You say looking over his shoulder. Was he facing away from you?
Yes, he was facing a wall. And
You saw him through this window, or you said there was a row of windows?
it was a row of windows, just a huge row of windows, only divided by struts or structures that prevented it from being one solid window. Or then it would have been one solid window. And the evil face on he looks like a German Nazi.
Oh dear.
He is not. Did he have on a uniform?
Yeah, but you see, he's using culture again.
What kind of uniform?
It was black. He had a black scarf around his neck, dangling over his left shoulder.
You pointed it out as if it were on you.
I never noticed that before.
You had a black scarf on your neck. How could you see these figures so clearly at that distance?
I was looking at him with binoculars.
Oh. Did they have faces like other people? You say one reminded you of a red-headed Irishman.
His eyes were slanted. I see it so. His eyes were slanted. But not like a Chinese.
What was Betty doing all this time?
I'm not close to her. I don't know.
You're out there by yourself
think of
now?
her.
You don't think of her. Is she saying anything?
I can't hear her.
Did you make any outcry to her, the way you did to me?
I can't remember. I don't know. I did not.
You would remember it if you did.
I did not. But I know this creature, this leader is telling me something.
He's telling you something. How? How is he getting it to you?
I can see it in his face.
Do you see his lips move? Yes.
No, his lips aren't
Here's that
moving.
movie. Oh. What did I do?
What did he tell you?
You know, you had talked about the movie, about the two aliens. I think that's the movie there. Robert, are you there?
You mean the edition of Outer Limits.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Was it a black and white man, or was it a remake of Betty and Barney Hill? Maybe I'm not too sure.
I'm sure that's a remake, Paul. Because
I was saying those aliens do look like his picture. I must admit. If that's the case.
I think that is from the film that was based on John Fuller's book called Interrupted Journey.
Okay. Oh, well, so there's the picture of the UFO, and it's nothing like anything on movies back then.
John Fuller was the first. Yeah, John Fuller was the first to write a book on the Betty and Barney Hill case. Yeah, and it was called Interrupted Journey, and he also included another 1950s UFO event in that same book. It was in two parts, The second part of the book, dang it, I should remember. I read the stupid book, and I've forgotten what the second. Was it the Lou Book Lights? No, I don't think it was. I think it was another 50s, major 1950s UFO event. Anyway, it'll come to me as. Yes, I remember now. It was the Levelland case, the Levelland, Texas case, 1957. Yeah, there you go. It contained those two cases. Good book, by the way.
Stay there and keep looking. Just keep looking and stay there. And just keep looking. Just keep looking.
Could you hear him tell you?
Oh, I got to pull these binoculars away from my eyes. Because if I don't, I'll just keep staying there.
Could you hear him tell you this?
Oh, no, he didn't say it.
You felt he said it.
I know.
You know he said
it. Just there, yeah. Just stay there, he's saying to me. It's
all right.
Pounding in my head. Just
all
don't
right.
pull the binoculars away. God, give me strength.
All right.
Pull them down. Run! Pull these binoculars down and run. God, it says my God, give me strength. I gotta get away. Oh, Betty.
All right.
We gotta get away, Betty.
All right. Calm down. Calm down.
I'm driving. I gotta get away.
Jesus, bring him out of there.
How could you be sure he was telling you this? Calm down. You're still asleep.
Oh.
How could you be sure he was telling you this?
His eyes. His eyes. I've never seen his eyes before.
But you said they were friendly. You said they were friendly.
Oh, no. Not the leaders. I said only the one looking over his shoulder.
Oh, I see. The leader was
friendly.
How did you know the other one was the leader?
Because everybody moved. Everyone was standing there looking at me. But everybody moved to these levers or in the back, or they went to this big board. It looked like a board. And only this one with the black shiny jacket and the scarf stayed at the window. I'm driving.
You going back into the car now?
Yes.
You put down your binoculars, did you?
I got them down.
Yes. And you got into the car. Did you speak to Betty?
Getting a hold of myself. I'm saying, hold to myself. Don't panic. We got great fortitude. You can drive the car. And I told Betty to look out. The object was still
Do you want
around.
to pause it, Carl?
Feel it around us. I saw it when we passed by the object.
Yeah, it's intriguing, isn't it? And it doesn't make for particularly pleasant listening either, to be honest. Because you know when you take all this in, Barney never recovered from this event. You know. Now I know Betty Hill went on to do conferences and she became deeply involved in the UFO community and that. The same never applied to Barney. He tried to stay out of this business as much as he could, but his health suffered badly as a result. He had there was physical evidence around his testicles are all grown here, aren't we? I think there was triangular marks. His health suffered and he died at the age, I think it was 51, of
really?
brain hemorrhage. oh God, yeah, he didn't live long. Barney never lived long. He never, you know. And people say to me, "Oh, they are space brothers. They're here to help us." Whatever. Well, it didn't do much for him, did they? You've only got to listen to those regression tapes. I mean, you could argue that Betty was more acceptive of the situation, and therefore she fared better. She was more willing to accept support, which Barney kind of denied himself. He wanted the whole thing to go away. Barney, out of the two, Barney was the skeptic. He was a hardcore skeptic. If I know we skipped to 9 minutes, but if you listen to the first 9 minutes before we started, you can actually hear him saying, "Betty's annoying me. She's talking about a UFO, and I'm sure it's just a star or an aircraft." Then he begins to get a little bit annoyed when this light gets closer. That he's saying in the regression, he's saying, "Please make a sound, so I can tell Betty it's just an aircraft and nothing else, and then we can carry on with the journey into, But of course, it never happened. The craft was silent, and it came closer and closer, and the abduction.
I don't think it had any. I don't think it had any humming. Didn't have any humming sound. I don't think even.
No, there was no humming sound. There was absolutely nothing. Just complete silence. The only sound they heard was a kind of a clicking sound, and this is when they were right over the car. Now he hasn't got to that bit yet. That's in part 2. But I think I did tell you. I think I did tell you last week.
Yeah, but he hasn't even been taken inside the UFO yet. Can you imagine him screaming when he's inside the UFO?
Geez, man, it does get pretty bad there. Yeah. But when he first listened back to the regression tapes, I think I mentioned last week, he threw up because he had no idea what he'd been describing. You see, he'd never listened back to them until that time.
Yes. Okay. So I wonder why she was less scared by it. Maybe her experience was less scary to her for some reason. But then again, they did stick something in her navel that made it really painful, I think.
Yeah, well, she also had nightmares for a long time too. But I think she done the right thing by accepting help from the UFO community. But Barney wouldn't be. He just wanted to stay outside of that kind of thing, Even after what happened to him, he was more in denial than he was willing to come forward and say, "Oh, okay, look, this happened. What do you think? What do you think it could be? What are the implications? How do I get help for this?" He wasn't willing to do that. He was his own man. But Betty opened herself up to the UFO community.
Yeah. Plus,
I'm not saying that's all a good thing, but.
Plus, there's a lot of stuff we haven't heard about these two as well. Apparently, they were seeing. She got a visitation before she died, a year before she died, wasn't it? I'm not sure if it was the same aliens or not, though. We were trying through Earl Grey, trying to get Kathleen Madden on so we could ask her these questions because she wrote a book on it, apparently. I'm not sure if it's all in the book or not. Did you ever get her book at all?
Me personally,
yeah. Did you get captured?
No. The only one I've read is Interrupted Journey by John Fuller, the one with Leveland case in it. The second.
I think in the newer books she talks about ongoing sightings and one abduction, maybe a couple of abductions that may have happened.
That's right. That's Kathleen Madden's book, isn't it? Captured, yeah. That's the one she wrote with together with Stanton Friedman.
Yeah.
Yeah, See, I'm not interested in that book because I knew a big part of that book was the star map was played a major role in that, and I already knew that was nonsense. You see.
Yeah.
So yeah, with John Fuller's book, it was uncontaminated, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
And it was closer to the actual event than Marden's book and the Friedman's book. And Stanton had a bit. I've got to say, I've got to be critical of Stanton here on a couple of things. I mean, one on the MJ12 papers. I mean, good God, long after they'd been proved to be the bogus hoax, he still stuck by them, and he stuck by the star map as well. Still, he did leave ufology in a better place than what it was when he started. So,
well, I can probably see it his way with the star map. Maybe some more stars come into focus with better telescopes, but maybe the star map is actually looking at the brightest stars and thing, and you can't normally see the other stars. So maybe it's still correct, you know. So just imagine that you got the Big Dipper, but you can only see the square, but you can't see the handle unless you got better telescope, right? Imagine if they're really dim, but the stars are still there, forming a pattern. Maybe you just do the square, right? Because they're the brightest ones. So that's what I'm saying. Maybe their star map is listing the brightest stars. So it still might be correct, but like I said, we know how many stars there are out there now. Trillion, billion stars in the universe. That's a lot of star patterns, and of course a lot of galaxies as well. So those circles might actually be galaxies, not stars, you know. So there's all sorts of other combinations that you can get from it. Well, and of course they might be not just stars, but there might be planets, is it, as well? How do you know it's not planets? Because I haven't actually looked at the star map at all, unless we want to bring it up today. I think there was, wasn't.
Yeah, of course you can take a look at it, Paul. I don't mind you taking a look at it, but I just don't see it's ever going to be any kind of proof of anything. It's not going to validate anything.
So, like I said, I haven't looked deep into these cases. Normally, I like to not know too much about it, so I don't get influenced by other people's comments, and I look at and see patterns myself. Star map. Okay, so we've got a star map here. So have we got one that's actually nice, easy to read here? I suppose that's the one she drew, is it? We need to get a big picture of one of them anyway. Another picture of the UFO. So that's not a normal UFO. That's really unique. Okay, so here's the star map, but we got no names on it. Was it Betelgeuse, the constellation, or something?
No, I don't know. But it reminds me an awful lot of the binary code that John Burroughs.
So are these actually stars here? You know, with the four. It's got 4 lines between. So what's that mean? You know what I mean? How do I know that's even a star map? They say star map there. Did she say it was a star map, or did she say solar map or whatever? You know.
Well, it's known as the star map.
Yeah, we have to find an interview where she actually says it's a star map, not a planet map or galaxy map or whatever. You know, maybe the two stars.
The star map.
There it is. Zeta Reticuli.
Of course, it was Zeta Reticuli. Yeah.
Is that part of
which was one.
Beetlejuice though? I'm not sure.
I don't know. But it was one of the closest star systems. So if if you're one of those that believe they get in here from there, I don't particularly believe that myself. I don't believe they're traveling particularly far at all. I think they're already here, and I think they've been here a very long time. I don't think they're traveling vast distances across the universe. But that's my opinion. My opinion is worth jack shit.
Yeah, let's just have a look at the star map here.
Just
pops it loop. GPS. So what's it say here? Theta 2, Theta 1. So I guess there's stars, right? But what's the big lines between meant to mean then? So now it's got me thinking on this thing. My brain's kicking in on pattern recognition, and maybe they're interpreting things wrong. So what would the lines be in between? Trade routes, maybe? Superhighways? Don't know too much about it, you see. Race relations. Robert, he keeps going to the toilet, doesn't he? I think he's diabetic, but he doesn't reckon. Yeah, so what's the lines in between? That doesn't make any sense.
But I mean, Paul, just to look at that map, you can see it's pretty basic and it's open to interpretation, isn't it?
But it does it does look like
okay.
The map of the star system, though, doesn't it? So what's different about it? And you notice how these ones are bolded, you know? It doesn't matter what the other stars are behind. Like, she's sort of drawn on... So, did she draw that, or did the artist draw that shit over top? You know, the one that worked out the stars?
I really don't know.
So that changes it all, you see. Is that what Betty drew, or is that what they adapted from what she said? And what's the lines between? I was saying, does it represent?
No. Betty drew the map and the regression. Now, whether that is the map she drew, or this is another interpretation of it, I don't know.
So that one's got dotted lines. These ones have got solid lines. So what are the solid lines? Well, like highways, you know, alien highways. 4-lane, that one's a 2-lane, and these ones are dirt road. Maybe there's no hypersonic travel points. I don't know, it's kind of strange. Now, where's the planets around that? Do we know? Is there any planets around it? See, I'd like to delve into it. Must be a reason why Stan stuck to his guns. If you looked at that, it does look like what she drew. But then again, someone's drawn lines between it, probably. What else we got? Wikipedia. Let's have a look at that one. Okay. That's a bit more confusing, isn't it? So where's Theta 1 and Theta 2 on that? So maybe it's how you draw the star map. So where's Theta 1 and Theta 2? It's got to be there, isn't it? There and there. Compare it back to that one. Then it's got a little star that goes out this way. There was a few more stars out that way. There's one there and one there, right? Looks like it needs some more extra research offline on that one. Excuse me. Now I can see by looking at this, and maybe that's the latest version, I don't know, doesn't sort of match what they've modified here. So where's the other stars? There's two up there. But then again, it's only rough, isn't it, what she did. I can still see Stan thinking, well, it's close. It's close. It's not really worth worrying about. But anyway, we better carry on. Definitely.
Sure. I don't know if you want to play any more of that regression, because there's absolutely no point in using like a part of it when what you. But I did mention that you can find all the regression tapes on a channel called Flight 19, a YouTube channel called Flight 19.
I posted a link before. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Paul. Okay. So yeah, go back and listen to it all. I think it's intriguing, and I think it really favours it being a real event rather than something that was contrived or concocted. Certainly.
Well, maybe we can skim through a couple through time here. So we'll just move on.
You can do. Yeah, and maybe close to where I am.
Oh, geez. That's the funniest thing, Betty. Funniest thing.
It's funniest.
I never believed in flying saucers, but I don't know. Mighty mysterious. Yeah. Well, I guess I won't say anything to anybody about this. It's too ridiculous, isn't it? Oh, yeah, it's really funny. Wonder where they came from. Oh, geez, I wish I had gone with them.
You wish you had gone with them?
He sounds different there now. He seems
happier,
happier.
hasn't he?
He's happier, and they're laughing about it. Quite strange.
But he's also saying there, I don't think I want to talk about this.
Isn't he saying? Yeah, isn't he saying he wish he went with him now, though? Hang on, let's just keep on listening.
You stopped it at that bit.
Oh, what a experience to go to some distant planet. Maybe this will prove the existence of God.
Okay, so he's saying it would be really interesting to go to a distant planet with them now, in proof of God.
Isn't that funny? Look for the existence of God in other planets. Were you scared? I wasn't.
Tommy T's joining us.
No, I wasn't afraid.
Hey, Tommy.
It wasn't anything anyway. It was very ridiculous just you and I talking about it. Well, we're getting into Portsmouth a little later than I expected.
We had a few niggles
All right,
today.
we'll stop there.
So the hypnotizer, did he do it all in one session, or did he do it over weeks?
Over 7 months, Paul.
Over 7 months?
7 months. Yeah.
So what's part 2 then? Let's have a look. What else you got there? Coast to Coast. Oh.
I'll tell you what. This, the cost there's some nonsense on there, but this YouTube channel is a little gold mine, you know. I've found quite a few like this.
I thought most of these would be copyrighted material, actually. Kind of strange. Kevin Randall.
Oh, well, if you get permissions, you can put them up.
Yeah. I suppose if you got enough people visiting. But how many subscribers has he got?
1.47.
Yeah, I don't think Coast to Coast, if you had like millions in Coast to Coast, might say, yeah, it's good for, give him a couple to put on his website, good for promotion.
Yeah, well, these are probably the really old episodes, blah, 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 blah. You don't know his personal connections, do you?
Hypnosis number 2, let's have a look.
Oh, it's there. Number 2 is there. That's Betty Hill.
Oh, it's a lot worse quality.
Yeah, that's Betty as well.
That needs some major audio work there.
It came out.
It's too basic.
Because
Needs
just
to
about
be
this time, as a result of a former marriage, I have 2 sons. And occasionally I began becoming depressed.
Okay, let's move on a bit.
This was not what she told me.
You're definitely going to have to listen to these in headset anyway. Especially that poor quality. That's no good.
I don't want to remember it.
Is that Betty?
I was told I won't remember it.
I think so. It's a bit hard to tell. It's so basic.
That still sounds like Barney talking to me, you know. So I have really no idea where you've gone.
I'm just skimming through it, but it's terrible audio.
He did not speak.
That's Betty.
By words. I was told what to do by his thoughts, making my thoughts understand. And I could hear him.
Hey, so that's telepathic communication there she's talking about.
Of course.
Now, how many sci-fi movies from there backwards had telepathic communication in them? Because they're making a claim. So if that's the first time that anyone's talked about telepathic communication, that's going to be like a plus in their favour, you see.
Do not recall any of the famous 50s movies using telepathic communication in a dialogue. I don't think that was ever in any of the scripts, and I could be wrong.
How about Forbidden Planet? Forbidden Planet had like a mastermind that sort of influenced the guy to go crazy. Did he have voices? Oh, Forbidden Planet might even be after 60s. I don't know.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. Is any movie where they had telepathic communication out there? Anyone that knows? Anyone that's a sci-fi buff? Because you talk about people talking about that all the time, and if that's the first time that anyone's talked about telepathic communication, she's saying his thoughts were molding with my thoughts, and I wonder how that sort of works though. Forbidden Planet. What year was it? 1956. Okay. That was a brilliant movie, though. $2 million to make that. I suppose that's
Then again,
all...
it wouldn't take too much working out to think that telepathy would be a kind of a universal language, a little bit like mathematics, if you like.
Have telepathic communication. In fact, someone's done some research on it. So this is all these things that people need to research, and when you got all the information at your fingerprints, then you can sort of debunk the debunkers that claim, they got that idea from a movie. Telepathic and mind control from science fiction movies. Here we go. 2014. Okay, that might be alright. Let's have a look. No clue on the side. Yeah.
I was quite a sci-fi person. I don't remember that being like a prominent feature in anything I've seen. But you've got to remember as well, if you're a debunker and you're looking to debunk just one aspect of the case and hoping the rest falls apart, which is kind of what Mick West does, you're always going to be able to find something along those lines. But then you've got to make the assumption that that person has seen it and was affected by it, and when it's later come out in an experience. Geez, man, I struggle with that kind of debunking. It's just mental gymnastics for me. It doesn't work.
I'm not actually seeing any straight answer here. Sender and receiver. He saw a rocket flying toward the city. He imagined his right hand pressing the touchpad to fire the cannon. What was that? What kind of movie were they talking about here? That's not really communication. That's man to machine.
Yeah.
Attacked by pirates. Here we go. Simple computer game, which the city was under attack by pirates. Again, it's still about computers. Receiver. So, I was expecting to be a count. And the name of the movies. Most popular modern movies. I think it's going to require a bit of research on that one too. You got the star map and you got this.
And doing live research is just a little. It's not really on for people who are listening, is it?
No, but it would be good to have an answer. They could just go ping from a search and say, there's 3 movies this at 1966 or 1951.
To be honest, I've made my mind up that whatever happened, that there was a real event behind Betty Barney Hill, and I'm pretty concluded that it would take some. I don't know what kind of new evidence it would take for me to change my mind. There'd have to be a diary somewhere that they found where they were concluding to hoax this stupid scam to make money out of it. But they never made well, of course, Betty Hill made a few pounds in the end with the conferences and that. But
I think it's Kathleen Martin that's making the money.
Yeah, exactly. Tell me about it. And some of the books she's written on alien species and agendas and all that are just like that. Do you know what I mean? There's no way you can know that. I'm sorry, you just can't know that. So don't be saying it. If you don't know it, don't say it.
No, I don't remember that one.
I remember one black and white back in the day.
Yeah, but we're talking about telepathic communication here. I'll just keep listening to what she was saying.
I think what Mr. Jasper is talking about there is, was it V? I think that was the TV series V.
That was like a mothership that come over, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Aliens and holes. There was H.G. Well that was underground there. I suppose they're in holes. But that's 1967, 66 or something like that. Way after this.
Some of the earliest. Remember Quatermass and the Pet?
Yeah, that's UK sci-fis, isn't it? Would they have been popular?
Would they have been scary in its day, you know?
Would they have been airing in America and the UK shows? I'm not sure.
I think Quatermass pretty much global, like, you know.
Doctor Who would have been, I think.
Yeah, definitely as well, yeah.
But telepathic communication, maybe there's some Doctor Who that had that. But I just can't think of anything, to tell the truth. It's like a modern thing now, rather than something that was sort of known.
Not then, 1961. No, that would have been very unlikely. Look, it's not a hoax. It really isn't.
I kind of remember most of them would have been either talking in English, that they've learnt your language somehow, or they use like a computer translator. But like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, right?
Yeah, we got the universal translator with Star Trek as well, haven't you?
Yeah, that's right. And of course you got the Android that does that for you anyway. But that was way after though, the 70s we're talking about there now, aren't we? But then again, it wasn't telepathic communication like she's saying here. It's interesting.
Now the thing is, Barney was trying to describe the same thing, but he couldn't put it in the same words as Betty.
Yeah. Well, let's see what Ashley's got to say.
And I could not understand, and yet I could understand him, and I was told I would not be harmed, and that was by a kind of mental telepathy. I am not familiar with mental telepathy. Be able to understand someone else's thoughts, or to have your thoughts understood by someone else. I could understand his thoughts, but he never spoke any words to me. His thoughts came to me like I feel now when you talk to me, and were there, and yet my eyes are closed, and you ask me questions, and I know you are there, but I don't know where, and this is how he told me that I would not be harmed, and that I would be let alone to go soon as they had taken me into this room. And then I did not see him or hear him anymore, and I was going down a ramp, and I could hear his thoughts telling me I would not remember any of this because I was not harmed, and I wanted to forget, and he helped me to forget by telling me that this is what I wanted to do, and I did not remember anymore.
Wow.
You had Jules Betty trying to hypnotize you with Betty Barney.
So this again would have been the first time where they were told that they wouldn't remember and they would forget. So that's a modern day thing now, isn't it? And everybody's saying it's related because because you know about Betty and Barney Hill. But to me, if they're making this up, there's a lot of stuff there that we take for granted, which obviously wasn't around back in the 1960s.
Yeah.
Aliens telling you to forget the event. That's got to be something new there.
I don't listen. I think with all abductions, Paul. Yeah, this is my opinion now, and that's all it is. I think abductions are far more common than what we're led to believe. I think there's millions more abductions where people just don't remember anything. I think the only time you have memories of an abduction is when it's gone a little bit wrong. And of course, regression is another thing again. Okay, which will bring out hidden memories or memories that have been suppressed.
Yeah.
That's what regression does. No one quite knows how it works, but that's what it does. And we've already discussed how it could it can also invoke false memories as well. But that's what it is. It's not a science. It's a little bit hit and miss, but it can be effective.
Yeah.
How effective it was in this case and many of the cases as well is open to interpretation. But when you listen back through it all, it's compelling stuff, you know. And I think there's some real memories there, definitely, 100%, in my opinion.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of key elements in there.
I mean, you have to say, now, look at abductions in general. They don't take people out the middle of town, do they, when they're shopping? No, never. No. When do abductions take place? It's usually late at night, either when you're in bed asleep. You're out fishing in a remote area. You're out driving in a remote area. You're out doing something, but it's always a remote area. Now, why? Because the whole thing is clandestine. So for you to have all your memories back at the end of the day after all this, that would defeat the purpose, wouldn't it? I don't think you're supposed to remember anything, but unfortunately for the aliens, sometimes we do, but they've still kept it. They've still kept it as clandestine as to still make abductions only a fringe topic that only a handful of people in the world will believe. So you'd have to say that the protocol on the whole has been largely effective. Would you agree?
Yeah. I don't think a black and white couple like this would have come out with a crazy story like this.
No.
That's the number one thing for me.
Yeah.
And if it was like a KKK threat, they wouldn't say anything at all, I don't think. As some are claiming that they may have made up the story to cover up the KKK. It's just absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think what you kind of say is the clan, the the guys that had the white hoods, and I won't say it in its entirety, but just so other people understand what you're saying.
Yeah. Anyway, I suppose we better move on to the next topic and wrap up for the day.
Sure.
I know we're a wee bit late starting. How you going for sleep deprived? So was it near 4 o'clock in the morning for you? Is it?
It's we're now earlier than that, Paul. It's
2:40. Should be same as mine, but at 12 hours now, isn't it? 2:40.
Yeah, I'm at 2:52.
Oh, right, 2:50. Yeah, 50. It says here. Mine's corrected by internet time. But anyway, yeah. What's the next one we're going to look at?
God. Hopefully we can get through this one quite quick because it's not even really worth our time. It's the Pentyrch case, which allegedly happened in Pentyrch in South Wales in 2016. Now, this was supposed to be like a massive incident. UFO was shot down by the UK military, recovered, blah, blah, blah. Huge incident, single witness, enormous event like that, single witness. That witness, Kaz Clark, has now embellished her story even more. In a recent interview, okay, let me just run you through the case and how it was supposed to have transpired first. Her, Kaz Clark, and a witness, David, who no one's ever actually talked to, as far as I know.
Have you got a picture of what she looks like?
Of Kaz Clark, yeah. If you type in Kaz Clark, Pentyrch, and you'll find a photo of her.
How do you spell that?
So
you say just type it in.
Okay, Pentyrch. I'll spell it for you best I can.
Yeah, paste it on this side and I'll copy it. Oh no, just paste it on the side. Oh, you ain't got the side check.
I'll just put it in. I'll just put it in YouTube. Okay.
Yeah, and I'll just copy and paste it and search.
Yeah. There you go.
It hasn't come up.
So there was a military exercise going on now. It was called Operation Chameleon. Kaz was awakened by the planes flying overhead, and she came out to see what she described as a pyramid-shaped UFO craft,
right?
Which was kind of in and out of focus, like it was cloaking and decloaking kind of thing. All sounds really convincing. Out of that main object came several barrel-shaped craft that came relatively close to her and her friend David, who was a neighbour at the time. Now, Kaz never claimed to see any UFO crash or anything being shot down. But some days later, she was out walking, and according to her, she met a dog walker. The dog walker said he heard a loud explosion somewhere over Smilog Woods. Now, Smilog Woods was 5 miles away from where Kaz Clark witnessed this pyramid UFO. It's quite a distance. Okay, so she took a little journey to Smilog Woods to investigate, and she found tree damage. And anyway, Swansea UFO Network got involved, and this is what got me. Okay, they said they found high levels of radiation at the crash site. Now, also at this so-called crash site was some damaged trees, and she took pictures of those. You see, now that tree damage, as far as I'm concerned, I've seen it before all around Anglesey. It's exposed here, and when the winds blow, trees do break off. It didn't look anything unusual to me, to be honest. But anyway, apparently, yeah, exactly. But apparently there was some burn marks, and that would a lightning strike would explain that as well. Some burn marks on the side of the trees, but according to Gary Jones of Swansea UFO Network, there was high levels of radiation in the area. So when he was asked, well, are they still there? He says, no, they've nearly gone. Now, hold on a minute. Now, okay, there's different types of radiation with different types of half-lives. But what he was using was an EM detector. Now, an EM detector, you can convert the EM to the radiation readings as well. And that's how I believe it was done. But you've got to take radiation readings over a consistent period to get any scientific value out of it at all. But now he says these high radiation readings have dissipated. Now, the case was in 2016. Now, good God, the only type of radiation that a thing like that would pick up is a high energy radiation. And I can tell you now, you're looking at 20,000 years for that radiation to dissipate. This was in 2016. That's a nonsense. That is a nonsense as far as I'm concerned. Now, it's not only that. Kaz Clark, in a recent interview, has said that when she had a lie detector test, she found she was emitting a signal. When she was further questioned about that, she implied it was an alien signal that came from the UFO events. Now, she's made an even bigger claim that I'm not going to go into because I don't have full permissions to share. But all I can tell you is that Swansea UFO Network are aware of this claim, and I don't know. I think they want to wash their hands of it, to be honest, from what I hear. But all I can say to you now, before you get sucked into this case, it's big claims and zero evidence. I mean, you think about it now. Kaz Clark said there was a huge military presence, people doing a fingertip search. Okay? How many people would have seen that? Hundreds of people. I know Pentyrch is remote. There's still plenty of people around there, I can tell you. Yeah? She's got one photograph, right? And there's not a single person in the photo. It's a photo of 3 flaming tents. And she said, because of the way the tents are lined up, it had to be military. And she quoted, you can take the army out of the man, but you can't take the man out of the army, or something like that. You can't take the army out of the man. Bollocks, I can put 3 straight tents up, no problem.
I think we've covered this case before, I think.
Maybe, but I think it needs put into bed, because this is another case now that Ross Coulthard was talking about as like something that's, whoa, wow, groundbreaking. And there's a documentary being made on this case, and there's a book being written. Not good. This is not good. Now, as you can see, she appeared on the Martin Willis show, and a lot of people fell for the story. But Martin Willis actually said that, it's like I'm reading an audiobook. That's how well she's got the story down. Yeah. Really annoys me. Now, I'm from Wales, and I love this case to be real, but I just simply can't accept the evidence that I'm being presented with. I've done my own inquiries into this, and they've led. It's just that there's nothing going on. It's not happening. The military exercise, yes, that did happen. There's a few photos come out as well. A friend of mine had a look at them. I won't mention his name here. But the green and red lights, they're navigation lights. Now, what are you supposed to, when you're pointing the camera up during a military exercise? What the hell do you expect to see? Yeah? That's no evidence of a UFO.
No.
It's poor. It really is. It's a piss poor case. Zero evidence. Prove otherwise, please, but no. And there's more I wish I could tell you, but it does get worse. That's all I can say. And unless anyone's got any further questions on that, Paul, or you want to look further into it, that's all I've really got to say. And we can move on to something else, whatever that may be.
Press site, sir. Well, while we're talking about Betty Barney Hill, maybe we can bring up the end bit where he's trash talking about Betty on GUFON's show, since you haven't heard it.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll see if I can find it. And see what you think of what he's saying here. Spaces YouTube won't come up. Actually, I haven't got it linked. Actually, I forgot. Maybe I haven't got it on this one though. I don't think I got all the same bookmarks. Not on that one. Okay, I don't see them. I don't think. UFO Man. No, I didn't add GUFON there, damn it. GUFON, the greatest UFO network. That's a stupid name. You should never have called yourself GUFON.
Yeah. I wouldn't go playing too much of that buffoons.
No, it's mostly Carl Korff talking. Korff, I mean. Keep calling Korff. Right. Yeah.
Carl Korff.
I know. Korff. Carl Korff. Yeah, just trying to find this YouTube channel, but Google makes it terribly hard to find YouTube channels, especially if they're...
Yeah, I don't do it like that. I use DuckDuckGo. I use that as my search engine. Then I hit the video button on DuckDuckGo, and that gives me much better results than actually searching on YouTube itself. There's a little tip if you be searching UFO stuff or anything strange for that matter, like DuckDuckGo is a much better search engine.
Yeah, I think
it's more effective than Google and YouTube combined.
I'll get it from this.
How much longer, I don't know.
I'll get it from my other bookmark here.
Going to strangle us.
It just shows how useless Google is. It's suppressing its own videos. You know, if they left it open, they would have a lot more traffic, a lot more advertising consumed. But they don't do it. They cripple themselves as well as us. GUFON, here we go. I suppose he's doing one right now, probably. I don't know. He renamed it, so what did he call it? Case Closed, that one there, I think. Oh no, that might be an update.
Let's mute this.
Is that called? Let's see if it's called.
Feeling I have.
No,
is known for doing this, from what I've learned. This is about the 4th or 5th.
No, it looks like it's an update. It must be one before it then. This one. Here we go. Robert's gone there. He's going to be here listening to the Betty Barney Hill
from
trash.
Other planets versus other suns. So if any...
Yeah, we'll just go back a bit.
Theoretically, by the private contractors. That's how you avoid FOIA, right? You sign NDAs and have the...
Yeah.
All the ufology book series, right now we think there's going to be 24. There's a book...
Might have to find out where he starts talking about Betty. Could be after there.
Really believes Meyer and follows the spiritual guidance of the Pleiadians and Meyer. He wouldn't act the way he does.
Okay. Robert has left the building.
So there's obviously a disconnect. And if this is what Meyer is teaching people, who the hell would want to act that way? Is it enlightened to say, I'll be there and show these guys, then you don't show up? You lie, you make up stuff, call people cancer that must be excised, whatever else he does, it's a matter of record. There's no spiritual anything. It reminds me of the fraudulent televangelists of big religion that get mad when you question why they have a jet and their last name is Dollar. Hello?
Well, besides that, it really stems from the Theosophical Society and Theosophy. Madam H.P. Blavatsky, Helena Blavatsky, had what amounts to a hoax photograph type of cult. just like what Meyer's promoting and Horn is promoting these days. It goes back to that. They have these ascended masters who are you spent some time over in India, Cal, and I'm sure you know that there's a philosophy out there. It's not quite Hinduism, but they have these figures in there that don't exist, never existed. They look silly, painted by Herman Schmidtson, and basically Helena Blavatsky blew up a photograph of a painting by Schmitzen and wrapped it around a dummy, and she sat there on a throne, and here's El Moria, and here's Cthulhu, these two people that never existed, only in their imagination, but a painting of it, and wrapped it around like a stuffed dummy to make it look like another person is in the room. It doesn't even look good. It looks phony. It's the occult, and it's not just a cult, it's the occult, and it's very scary. And it's very creepy and very evil because they were, and it actually goes back even before her. It goes back to George Edward Bulwer Lytton, or Lytton, and the coming.
Oh, you're back with us. I was just trying to find the start off where he's trash talking them. Let's come up with 2 now. Okay, so where's the second one? Whereabouts are we? Come on, race, no. Oh, it's coming, still searching. So damn slow. Searching the transcripts. So 8 references of Betty, so... Why won't allow us to go to the next one? I must be still thinking. Damn it. Well, I might as well keep on listening then.
Race, which also influenced the Thule Society and eventually, the National Socialists over in Germany and Hitler. But it was before World War One. I mean, this has got the sentiments of anti-Semitism right there. The Aryan Brotherhood, that there was an Aryan supermen living underground in Shambhala, Agartha, whatever you want to call it. That was a hollow Earth theory. It's all connected. It's secret society stuff. It's what shall I say about it? Other than that, other than it goes back to becoming a race, which it sounds amazingly like what Anjali has recently come out and said, that there's a cave and that there are these white, long-haired, Nordic-looking beings down there. That's all lit tone, Bulwer lit tone. That's what else can I say about that? But there's where it leads.
And, you're right. You're connecting full circles, and I commend you on doing that because, based on what I see in Twitter, a lot of people couldn't mention these names, rattle them off like that, would have no idea what you're talking about. Years ago, people knew who Adamski was. Nowadays, you have to be over a certain age, and that's why it's important to point out how all this comes full circle. Real quickly, can you ask what cases may be real? Oh, okay.
Yeah, they just want to. I was going to ask you anyway. Thanks, Xavi G310 for the $5 super chat too. But yeah, do you guys? I'll ask Cal first since you're already thinking about it. What is a valid case? Is there any?
Okay, first off, to be honest, that's not the right approach, and I'll tell you why. You can't go in to say what's a valid case. You have to say, okay, here's X number of cases, and then you run them through a process, a scientific filtering to say, okay, of these that are out there, here's where we can have binaries versus non-binaries. You want to focus only on binary cases as a rule, because binaries by their nature mean you can solve them one way or another. Let's say you eliminate everything but one possibility. That possibility that is left is the answer. That's how you have to approach it. So in all the ufology book series, right now we think there's going to be 24. There's a book exposing Lazar in December with Dan Binkert, Stephen, and myself. We're working on it. That's a binary because we can solve it. Now, unfortunately, as I end the miniature book within a book in this series, I mentioned that Stanton Friedman has been vindicated because I say that he said something to me which really left an impression on me. I end the front matter, the mini book within a book, by saying that Friedman was vindicated because he said, new ideas come into being, not because people accept them, but because their opponents die, and a new generation is born that is accustomed to them.
Thank God for the internet.
Yeah, so he's paraphrasing what Max Planck said, the father of quantum physics, because he had a lot of pushback when he was talking quantum. They're like, hey, we don't even understand normal physics, and you're already getting Zen on us. But he was right. Quantum physics rules the universe. So, ironically, Friedman is right.
Under
the problem
whose
is these opponents
science?
have died. I know I left the country for 20 years, did something very different, was happy to do that. Others just didn't say anything.
He's a
Said, I'm not going to bother
Big
with
Bang
Lazar, whatever. Friedman is
space-time
dead.
guy.
Friedman had his issues. So these opponents have died, and then the media and Hollywood and UFO researchers like Leslie Kean, who is fooled by a video of an insect and thinks it's exotic aerodynamics, when she's on the History's UFO investigation team, I'm not surprised when a bullshit article appears years later by her in the New York Times. So all of that is related. And so of the binary cases, to answer the question, that's what we have to chase. These are coming up as they're solved. No
He hasn't
aliens,
answered the
but
question.
there's a group of cases like the
What's the best
McMinnville
case,
area
mate?
photos.
Come on.
We're going to do
this is
only that I know
typical
of AR,
anyway.
VR
He does
recreation of
talk
the
some
trend.
sense. I say that like he
Oh yeah,
talks
he talks
about
sense, but
ufology
he's plugging his books all the time, and he's here he's doing a typical Michael Horn, the avoiding the question, but eventually comes up with 24 as a number. But still, he asked what the best case is. So what's the best case of the 24? It should be easy. You should say, oh, this one come out tops, and our calculations.
What he's got a habit of doing is talking all around the subject and sounding intelligent at the same time, but he's not actually addressing. He's not exactly addressing the question.
No, it's not.
That's just typical Korff tactics, to be honest.
Yeah.
There you go. It's typical debunkery.
Yeah, I was just still trying to find that Betty stuff. I think it comes after here.
Film. Either it's a real object hanging out in a film, and you can in a field, and you can go walking under it and look up and say, "Oh, okay," or it's a small model just past the ladder that you see in the Time Life photos, which it may be. The problem is the densitometer readings of the bottom of the object. Veil and glare analysis indicates it's a large object far away. On the other hand, if it was a mirror hanging down, that would explain the veil and glare, okay, because it's not a normal hubcap or something like that. So that case is on our list to try to solve one more.
Okay, so I just wonder if he's been watching my show, because I actually looked into all that and determined that the Trent photo, as he's talking about here, is a truck mirror. And that's why Bruce Maccabee was correct in the analysis that the light from underneath it was abnormal. That's because it's a mirror, you see, and Bruce didn't take that into account.
Personally, I'm of the opinion that the Trent photos are reality. I don't think they were hoaxed.
They're definitely hoaxed.
No,
watch my 2 live streams on it. You can see the wires. You can see the wires.
I've seen the live streams, Paul, and I don't fall for that one personally. That's not my opinion. I think the Trent photos and I think the Jack Sacklin photos as well. I think they're both
hanging down from a power line going across between 2 buildings. Well, actually a phone line, I think. But
well, we're not always going to agree on everything, are we?
No, but he's talking about here being a hoax, I think.
One or another. It can be solved. It should have been solved, to be honest. We wanted to do the AR, VR thing in the 90s. I walked away from the field. It wasn't done while I was gone. Fast walker cases and military cases and cases where things are detected in space and suddenly come in and take off, and we don't know those physics. Those are very interesting. And then there's another area nobody's studying. I studied it up to a point, only to be disappointed. When I was overseas and doing stuff on counterterrorism and working with Israelis and other foreign nationals, I found out very quickly that Mossad spends no time on UFOs. And that really bothered me because, if all this stuff is going on, or even one case like Rendlesham, Mossad would be all over it.
Oh,
Why aren't they trying to steal the secret Roswell unobtainium samples?
Okay, do you want to pause
Because
it there?
there is no smoking gun.
They're still skirting the
Okay.
question, but anyway.
Yeah, but this is Karl Korff's whole idea why UFOs are not real. He claims, he's never proved it, by the way. He worked for Mossad, the Israeli intelligence, basically.
Yeah,
Mossad never studied UFOs, therefore, conclusion UFOs do not exist. Well, one, we have to establish that he was in Israeli intelligence in the first place.
Yeah.
Then we have to establish that he had the clearance which would allow him to see everything, including UFO material.
Mm.
Then we have to. Then you have to come up with the assumption that just because Mossad didn't study UFOs, maybe the Americans were doing that for them. We don't know. That then yeah. So there's too many. It's a really paper thin kind of real that UFOs aren't real. It just doesn't add up. Karl Korff and his Mossad days don't add up. And I told you the thing about how he was caught out with a paintball gun.
Yeah.
When he was claiming to be in, God knows, was it Iraq or Afghanistan? I don't know. And it turned out he was having a paintball gun. Oh, dear. So once you've been caught out in a lie that big, it's very difficult to regain any stature.
Yeah, but he tries to get back at Kevin Randall at that one, didn't he? By trash talking him about his PhD, not being from a real university, so you can't call it a PhD.
Well, have a look at Kevin Randall's blog, Different Perspective, and just type in
I already covered it in the last live stream, I think. But anyway, we'll just carry on, see if he gives us an answer.
I believe that if there's any evidence out there, we have to look for exobiology. I'm more excited over the methane plumes coming out of the moons around Saturn. Because
what about the tadpole off the sun? That was pretty startling.
Yeah, the point is there's stuff out there right under our noses, and UFOs are in that mix, just like a
so this guy here, his name is called Frapsap. He believes that he sees alien artifacts and rocks, this type guy. But he's talking about, where like the sphere goes up, that looks like a sphere that's going up to the sun, where it's sort of sucking energy from the sun. He believes all that kind of crap because he doesn't understand, obviously, the technical side.
He sounds about as thick as one of those things behind him, put it that way.
Yeah. Brick, yeah. Yeah, he's well read on scifis and all that sort of stuff. As you read, he's just spilled up a lot of names and book names and titles, that sort of stuff I don't do. I'm more into the realistic side of things, science-wise, and understanding camera artifacts. It was funny, the other day, they had Mr. MBB on 333. He's another fraud, by the way. He was talking about square blocks going through the sky, and even GUFON knew that was a camera artifact, but he didn't know the name of it. Rolling shutter. You know how you get lightning flashes, and you can actually see the rolling shutter going across the screen on a video. Because obviously lightning flashes faster than the processor can capture the whole scene in one go, and of course you get a bright stripe across the screen because it's like a flatbed scanner, the sensor, but it's going faster obviously than a flatbed scanner is. That's how you got to think of it. So you get a white bar that comes down, or what they call a vertical pillar, or a beam from space. You've probably seen all those on the fraud channels, Tyler Klockner, Secure Team, and Third Phase of the Moon. They know the camera artifacts, but they just push all this junk on people who don't understand camera artifacts. But yeah, it was kind of funny that GUFON didn't even know what it was called. But he went off the deep end on Mr. MBB, saying, no, I've seen it on my camera, that's a known artifact. But he didn't know what it was called, so it was kind of funny. Now this guy's the same. Talking about tadpoles sucking energy off the sun.
Found that could be a super Earth. That's exciting, even if it's not. It's a new planet. And so that's why the UFO software has a exobiology module. So I want to study the fast walker cases, and I want to help with UFO software to get all the data from top researchers into one standardized archive. Then, for the first time in a long time, we're able to look at common data sets.
That sounds really good, but he won't make it open source, right? If you're going to do a project like that, it needs to be open source, so anyone in the world can access all that data sets, right? Are you there, Robert?
Yes, of course.
All right, I was just wondering. You look like you're locked up. You weren't moving or anything, but you'll hear him talk about push his book at the end here in a minute, saying, "Oh, we've got all the court records of Wendell, Stevens Wendell, or Stephen, or whatever his name is."
Oh, Wendell Stevens, yeah. I mean,
yeah. He says we've only got all the court records. It's only available in our book. You can buy it from Amazon. Now he's talking about having a database here available of all the UFO cases that anyone can access, which is a damn good idea, with all the real facts, but obviously you're going to have to pay money to join his website to get access to it. Just keep listening to him.
Roswell really happened the way they claim, and there's no credible people I know of that say it did, there would be a whole cause and effect on that. That isn't there. Mossad would be all over it. KGB would have been all over it. But there was nothing. Why? Because it didn't happen the way people claim. So binaries are the answer. The ATIP thing is solvable, provided we can get access to the stuff that's still being held theoretically by the private contractors. That's how you avoid FOIA, right? You sign NDAs and have the private contractors have it. So those are what you target, binaries, whatever it is. Just like those photos. Remember the photo that was declassified or leaked of that balloon-like object outside the cockpit? People say it was a
Batman thing.
Okay. Until somebody runs that formula that's in the Meyer book.
It's a hat.
You can tell how far away that object is because you know the camera used. You can plug the formula in. You can determine all that. You know how big the cockpit was. You have points of reference. Why nobody's done that is inexcusable. I haven't bothered because I don't have an uncropped version of the photo. But when I read that DIA analysts or DOD analysts couldn't figure out what it was, bullshit. They're using these formulas right and left.
I can tell you how big it is. 18 inches.
It's not a new science. So all of these are solvable, but stick to binaries. If you don't stick to binaries, it's speculation.
If one thing is a lie, then you can't accept any of it.
You have to trust but verify, but really, really emphasis on verify. One example, the reason I cut the Harry Reid book loose is because this was taking forever to work the back channels in a way where I could avoid FOIA and so on. They might interfere with it. Pandolfi's allegation against Harry Reid is either true or it's not. He says he had ATIP shut down the moment he realized it was a techno scam. Okay, not anybody can have ATIP shut down. Pandolfi's either lying or telling the truth when he accuses Senator Harry Reid of stealing the money and helping himself. Okay? I want it investigated, so I have to put it out there. What the ultimate truth is, let the FBI determine it. But that's all I can do. I'm not a cop. But I can say, here's the evidence, here's the recording, here it is, and, now we can find out. Let's find out. There's a question here. Yes, that's all accounted for. The metal samples. Real quickly.
Silver slag.
This was the first book to expose them here. But when I was in Switzerland and before that, the lab analysis had been done of the metal samples, okay? This is one of the metal samples I was given. It came from Wendell Stevens himself.
Got the phone ringing in the background, sorry.
And there's a penny there. That's my finger.
What's he going on about here now?
Talking about the slag from Billy Meyer, I think.
I don't. Oh, for God's sake, why are we on this then?
Because this is going to be about Billy Moore, and now this guy's interrupted him, and someone's asked a question about the slag, which was silver, because it was silver solder, wasn't it? But we're trying to find the Betty Barney Hill comment. I think it was coming up here still, though. Someone's called my phone, probably the hospital, not calling the main phone line like they're told to. They always call your mobile number. They never, you say your first number, your call should be this one. That way, my driver, they can talk to, because I can't drive when you get the eye test done.
And here's the scientist who supposedly authenticated him. He's bending metal with his psychic powers for the National Enquirer.
Cal, do we have those elements on Earth?
So, Marcel Vogel was not credible in that analysis. And the analysis are reported in here that they were ordinary earth metals. The analysis are reported in there, quoted verbatim. It's in that chapter called Analysis of Billy Myers Metal Samples. It's all in here. Those are just some photos of it. And I met Dr. Vogel, and he invited me for a contact with Semyazi when I met him. That's in there too. And he said to me, point blank, the sample does not look like anything we've made here on Earth. That's what they quote him as saying. But Wendell told me, and it's in his writing, that Semyazi told Meyer that when experts analyze them, the material and crystal samples would find nothing particularly strange. So there you go. And, if anybody has any purported UFO samples, because my Roswell book exposes art parts, it did it in 97. You do a simple isotopic ratio test. The isotopes are different when they're from other planets versus other suns. So if any metal came from another system,
unless it's a meteorite that someone crushed up and mixed with other stuff, and then you don't really know if it's from space or
See, the thing is, how does this guy afford to run his own analysis? We know that these things can run into millions of pounds. So where is his analysis coming from? I fail to understand that.
Yep.
I mean, to disprove something, you have to run your own analysis, and I'm sorry, but that is beyond that expense is beyond the realm of any UFO researcher. I mean, why do you think that Linda Moulton Howe and that Bell held on to these things for so long? Because they couldn't afford, or they could afford maybe the initial analysis that could show that it was interesting or not, but they couldn't afford the really in-depth analysis to do it justice.
Yeah,
I mean, TTSA couldn't afford to do it, could they? They had to pass it on to the army, and now we'll never know the results of that. And it's going to be classified.
Yeah, I just wonder why it's not searching like it used to here.
You just have to keep skipping then, Try Hill as a research then. Hill. Hill.
Let's see.
Two results.
Okay, I know it's more coming up now. Let's see. Expose the Hill case. Okay, it's way back at 15. Let's go back then there.
Yeah, let's just have a listen then.
Not playing.
And this is that book. And this is the next one coming out in October. They're all days apart. This exposes the Hill case for good and shows what Stanton Friedman knew but never shared with the public. I have the original files. I was his archivist. It's all in there.
Wait, is it a hoax?
It is not credible. And we could happy to show you the astronomy data on another show, or we can talk about this later.
Yeah.
But real quickly, I know I'm blowing through this quickly, but this is coming as well, the 4th title in October. This is exciting because I did file an FBI complaint, and hopefully the FBI will do their job and we'll find out whether these allegations are true about ATIP. This would explain where the money went, since no one can account for it. Okay, so this is the update to the Wendell Stevens book with Stephen Cambion. And again, I've added multimedia elements. And what we're doing is we're releasing products. This on the left are the Meyer books and exposés I wrote years ago in the updated one. And we're releasing, basically fake ship product lines. And it shows you how to fake Meyer's photos exactly like he did, step-by-step guide. So if you want to be your leader of a cult and hoax photos, you know how to do it now. They can't say anything about this because anybody can verify this. You can see it here. We've got perfect recreations of Meyer's photos, and that's what we've done on this merchandise. This is a laptop case, and they're meant to be discussed. These are cards, postcards you can buy and mail to people. If you go to my website, calkorff.com, click on the store button, we have Fake Ships conversation mugs. They're meant to be discussed. And what you see is you see the Meyer photos. Then we show you exactly where he took them, how to.
Okay. So do advertising thing.
Computers and stuff like that. And because everybody didn't get along with everybody, APRO hated MUFON, MUFON hated
that was on the Hill thing.
Lorenzis hated GSW. I was the guy in between all of this, trying to make everybody get along, focus on the data. And the book series is big on the cases we were able to resolve, like the Hill case, only because I bothered to be the young kid in between all of these people, which I thought was interesting because these are adults. They're supposed to be more mature. They were human, of course, more than anything.
The Hill case,
and this is a slide here that really sinks Mikey Horn's ship or any believer in the Meyer cult. These are some of the books Wendell published. Look, UFO, I came from Venus. He claims all these are true cases. Well, how can that be if Billy Meyer's the only real contactee in the world, according to Meyer? You can't have it both ways.
Yeah. No, that wasn't it. So where was he talking?
See, all he's doing now is debunking easy to debunk stuff that we all know is garbage anyway. We're just going nowhere here, Paul, with this. We know Billy Meyer's just a con man. We know Wendell Stevens has been discredited. I mean, why on earth spend so... I mean, I'm not talking about yourself now, but I'm talking about this podcast. Why is it spending so much time on stuff that's already been thoroughly debunked?
Oh, here we go. This is where he trash talks Kevin Randall.
As I wind this down real quickly here, I was working with Stanton Friedman to expose Lazar, fake Dr. Kevin Randall, fake medical illustrator Don Schmidt, appearing on an all-day MSNBC special on Roswell on the 50th anniversary, debating Randall on ABC, defeating him, warning people about Heaven's Gate. Nobody cared until they killed themselves. And then the Roswell book ends up being a bestseller. The image on the right's the paperback version that exposed Philip Corso for the first time. He's the first one to do that. Here's when Ray Santilli threatened to sue me over alien autopsy, saying it was a hoax.
God.
Yeah, as
Man,
we said,
you're in it. This is amazing.
Yeah, we said, bring it on. You know, we'll get your cameraman and your ass under oath. You can't afford to be under oath. He backed off. Here's Phoenix Lights. Here's Secrets of Area 51 revealed. Here's Starship Stupors, when they were trying to fake and as well. Exaggerate UFO stuff going on. Other politicians at that time, like Francis.
Sorry?
He's right. He's right about Don Smith. Don Smith did fake his credentials.
Yeah.
And it caused the fallout between him and Kevin Randall. He said he had a university degree. He didn't have one. The university he claimed to have got it from didn't even do that particular degree. Wasn't part of curriculum. So,
but they said that same with Bob Lazar too, didn't they? He was claiming to get a degree from
MIT.
Was it MIT? They didn't do that particular degree there, or something like that.
Well, no, I mean beyond all. Oh God, Lazar, come on, for God's sake, why are we talking about him? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I was just trying to find the bit where he's trashing Betty and Barney Hill about lights in the sky. He was...
Yeah, well, might as well talk about something else rather than just spend an hour looking for something, because we're not learning anything. We're not learning anything from this guy whatsoever.
Well, we're not going to mess around. Here's me with Stanton Friedman as a kid, how he twisted the word debunker. He told me debunker meant someone with a closed mind. No, it doesn't. Look it up. It means to separate fact from fiction. So the moment you hear somebody say debunkers, he's a debunker, that's a compliment. If they think it's an insult, they're
semantics.
And we need to start with those basic words, because words either mean what they do or they don't. This is just one letter where I have to go tell Friedman, and I'm 15, a year after I've figured this out and have been dealing with the astronomers. Stan, it's not credible. You know it. This is the actual letter. Again, it's in the stuff. There's Friedman and I when we're together. I got letters from people noticing the look on my face when I can't believe what I'm hearing. It's all right there. Everything from my nuclear bomb project as a kid, what I was doing, and what I was doing with Stan Friedman. Working with him and Bill Moore on the UFO Dictionary Project, and again, the conspiracy stuff. And in the books, I have links to credible shows where people can separate fact from fiction. I'd like to link to some of your stuff with your permission. And of course, I've got stuff with Stephen and Melissa going on.
This is not credible.
In there, you see the secret ATIP briefing slides for the first time in the new Harry Reid expose book. I'm hoping that the investigation will be finished, hopefully by the end of this year, early next year. And then anybody who gets the book, they get a free update. They just have to register so I know where to send it, because I want to take the readers along with them for these investigations. So these were the cases that I announced over 2 years ago I was coming after, because I had the answers. And I'm delivering on those promises.
Man.
So, just
beautiful.
on and on, yeah.
He was asked that question before, though, wasn't he? And he didn't answer it. What were the best cases?
Religious.
Yeah, the bar chart there. Now I can't find it. But it had some small writing at the bottom, didn't it? Can't seem to get it now. Probably only a few frames. This is the problem with Google search on the image thing. It doesn't actually show you.
Yes, I was even the principal of a school. They wouldn't even believe that. They're that ridiculous. And then here, to wind this down, these are coming out. These were my letters cut in response to the ATIP scam, saying this whole thing needs to be dealt with. There's the back end of the...
So I don't know why I couldn't find the Betty and Barney Hill stuff. Betty
I'm not really sure what he's talking about with Harry and ATIP, because you'd have to hear the whole thing in its entirety. You just going backwards and forwards, and I'm just getting a disjointed message here, like this is useless. Nights in the sky, kites in the sky.
Lights. Just seeing that come up. It's good when it always happens when you try and find, because they've got no chapters.
I know. Look, Paul, I know what he's talking about here. He was going on with Betty Hill seen lights in the sky, and she was convinced they were UFOs. But therefore, the whole case is rubbish. That's what he's saying. We don't need to hear him say that again. And of course, for me, that just doesn't add up. There's a lot more to the case than that.
Yeah.
I mean, Barney Hill wasn't seeing no lights in the sky, or he wasn't seeing any ghosts either. It just happened that Betty did. Betty was a kind of an open-minded, was open-minded to anything, to be honest. Barney was the opposite. Just because Betty had, shall we say, a bit of an imagination. Just no way does that tell you that the incident never occurred. It was all part of her imagination. And another thing he tries to say that they were sharing their dreams together and it all got convoluted and they both convinced each other that it was a real event, but of course, according to Korff, it wasn't. And just like I say, really stand listening to the guy, to be honest, or GUFON, or that. I'm not going to say.
Yeah, and if he wants to be credible, why is he on GUFON's channel in the first place? Because they're talking about Elton frauds that promote frauds, and GUFON, as we know, promotes Black Cousins and Third Phase of the Moon, who are well-known frauds in ufology, and they haven't changed.
What's Korff doing hanging out with these guys? Do you know what I mean? Because nobody else will have him on. No one else will have him on. He's not a nice person.
Well, Steve Coben has him on, but then again, they wrote a book together. That's why.
Yeah,
he totally trashes the Roswell thing, saying it didn't happen. But I'm
still. It's okay trashing Roswell. I suppose it's easy to do now because you're never going to be able to prove it. But
he reckons the two crash sites as nonsense. That's what he said anyway.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he has got a bit of a point. Not in saying that the second crash site is nonsense, but there's a hell of a lot less evidence for the second crash site than there's the first.
I don't know, the new witnesses, he didn't say were credible and all that sort of stuff, but I think that's bullcrap. Anyway,
so do I.
We'll just play this last clip here. I think this might be where he's trash talking.
Thing that was supposed to distinguish the Hill case from anything else. Without the star map, it's just another I was abducted story. Could be credible or could be true, could not be true, but we know it didn't happen the way they claimed, and you have to defer back to their therapist who said this was a dream. You can't argue with him because nobody was there to treat him like they were. And that's the truth on this. So the book proves that Friedman always knew this.
So Hypnosis was not their therapist, I would say.
Look, nobody. You're talking about a professional here in the medical field. Now, they're not going to turn around and say it was aliens, So it's just like you going to the doctor now and saying, "Doctor, I've got missing time. I believe I've been abducted. Blah 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 blah." You've got no physical evidence.
He'd send you the bloody padded cell, mate. No one's going to say that. You're not going to say that to your doctor. You think, oh shit, he's lost his brain.
Yes, but they did have to go to professionals over this, didn't they? Because of the nightmares. That's what compelled them to do it in the end, was the nightmares. Especially Barney. Barney was suffering bad. As I said earlier, he was lucky to get 2 4 hours sleep per night. So they went to professionals.
Even if the therapist believed this story, he's going to say, no, it's just a dream, because if he goes to the paper and says, yeah, that really happened to him, he's going to be...
Finished.
He's finished as a career. Yeah, so I can see...
Exactly.
Korff
was trying to use that as evidence. It didn't happen.
Yeah, I know.
It doesn't work.
There's a bigger picture to it, isn't it? Especially the time that people were less likely to believe in that stuff too, and think everybody's mental. But what else does it say?
It shows how I got mad at him in India, and I said, I'm going to expose this. And it's all laid out there. The Atterberg file survived intact. I had only digital copies in India. The original things are there. And of course, the Hipparcos data proves it. When you can see it and look it up on the internet, you're either a liar or a denier. And that's what I'm trying to do with all these cases. Make them binary so that either you admit the truth or you deny it, but at least everyone will know what you're really doing. You know, it's not to that point yet, and we need to get it there with all these cases.
It's very scary, Rich. Before, I just want to...
Anyway. So he's saying that Betty and Barney Hill before, without the star map, is just another normal abduction case. But it's the first one, isn't it? The first abduction case. And everything else could have been based on their story since. The telepathic communication and all that sort of stuff, that wasn't common.
Of course, you had Antonio Villas-Boas in 1957, didn't you? But as far as America was concerned, and as far as a documented case was concerned, Betty and Barney Hill was the first. But I'm sure it wasn't actually the first. I pretty much, I doubt. I would tend to believe that many people had similar experiences and never came forward.
Yeah. So yeah, we're pretty much done then for today. Coming up to 2 hours and 40 minutes now.
Unless anybody's got any questions in the side chat before we go. I've actually been working on my own little project recently. It's something I've been doing for quite a while, but what I've actually done this time, I've created a couple of folders, and what I'm looking at doing is documenting as many cases on my own island, Anglesey, which is about 25 miles across, and it's got a population of, I just looked today, of 74,000 people, I think. And of course, it's an island and it's surrounded by water, and more cases do happen above or close to water.
If you can get interviews with new people that've never spoken about the experiences,
that's what I already have, Paul. But I want more. Now there's some well documented cases that are on Anglesey, and there's some over the Irish Sea as well. You know, like the 2018 incident with Shannon Air Control Tower, where they seen UFO basically on that flight. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But I've got some good cases that'll fill up half a book. But what I want is new virgin cases that have never been in the public eye before, and then eventually maybe getting round to writing a book on UFOs over Anglesey. I don't know what I'd call it yet, but at the moment I'm data gathering, and what I've done, I've put an ad.
It's the only way to make money.
I don't want to make money, Paul. Yeah, I'm not interested in money. It won't make any money. It'll cost me about £1,200 to get it published. Yeah, that's before I even get a copy. And what do you think is going to sell? Not many, but I'd probably end up making a loss.
I don't know.
I'm still going to do it.
100,000 books. You could make maybe 100,000 out of it.
Oh God, no! I'm not looking to make a penny out of it. Paul. You won't make £100 out that just writing any old book. Otherwise, every sod would be doing it, wouldn't they?
Yeah, if you make that money, the government will come knocking on your door and say, "Right, hand it over." You lose your benefit.
But quite a little funny story on the way. Yeah, I've put an ad in the local paper, and it cost me £25, right, for about 20 words. And they've put it in for 6 weeks, and I've given my email address and my phone number. And I've already had a few, not from the ad, but I've already had a few since I've expressed an interest of a couple of people coming to me saying, listen, this person's got a story. And so then you've got to contact them. That's cheaper than what it used to be, because most people are on social media these days. So it's quite a bit easier to contact people than what it used to be. But this was funny. because you'll be quite aware, and a lot of people will be quite aware of the Berwyn Mountains UFO case. Well, now that's not in Anglesey, but the thing is, they launched that night over Berwyn. They thought a plane had crashed, and they actually launched a search and rescue mission from Anglesey, RAF Valley. So anyway, I phoned RAF Valley, asking them if they had any further information for me. Wow, I got a funny response. Anyway, so I had all the dates and everything in front of me, and this guy in his 20s, and he's a bit of a proper military guy, and he said to me, "How did you know that?" I said, "Well, it was in the local newspapers, and it's in the National Archives." "What's your name?" I said, "Rob Farmer." "And your address?" "For British Terrace." "So what do you want from me?" I said, "Look, I've established the search and rescue mission was sent out from there. I'm asking you, do you have any further details or any documentation you can send me?" "Right, I'm referring you to Captain Mantell." Well, I started laughing, didn't I? I thought he was having a joke. I thought he was talking about, Thomas Mantell, the guy that was killed in 1948, chasing a UFO. And he said, "It's not funny. Mr. Captain Mantell won't be pleased. He'll be phoning you soon." Anyway, so listen to this now. I actually did get a phone call as well. And do you know what they done? Referred me to the National Space Centre. Yeah, CVs, they gave me a phone number for that. And said that they no longer take inquiries about UFOs. And
no wonder we can't get live shows going anymore.
Yeah, good point. National Space
Speaking of
Centre,
which, people need to donate to the channel if you want to keep us on the air, because you can see we've got lots of things that we need to sort out.
Well, I could probably do some new merchandise anyway.
I'm trying to get that these various membership things to release the money. Really, Subscribestar if you got a credit card only is the only way there. But yeah, you can do super chats, buy some of our clever merch. You should get the one with the big black ops on the front. That's quite a good one. That's a very popular one. Okay. And we're working on a new logo. A better, cleaner design of it too, so it could go on the front. But I'm waiting for Plex to finish it. Let's see if I can bring it up, so I can just show you what he's been working on. So, does that drag across? Let's see. Trying to get the drag. So Discord group, and should be one here called FX graphics for the channel, where people can submit new ideas. Where is it? Channel times pics. Oh yeah, I've put that one there. Of the alien grey, looking at Robert there. So we can have quotes of what the alien's thinking about looking at Robert. Where's the graphic artwork? It's here somewhere.
How did I get stranded on this planet?
Yeah, what is my quote? I said, "Oh God, they're not paying me enough to live with this guy." Because remember, this is the sculpture that Robert got made, and I've turned it into my token avatar down here. But I use the graphics now for various things. Where's the graphics? Rick? It's called FX something. Pictures, no. Channel earnings, no. OT links, bots. Here it is, down here. I think he's put it there. Let's just have a quick look. There it is. So now we're looking at a cleaner design of that logo to go on the front, and it's got official crew member. The Out There channel, official crew member. It looks a wee bit better than the original one we've got, which is up here. That one there.
Yeah, the one I'm wearing tonight is actually a good one.
You got that on the back of your one. You got that on the back,
yeah, it's
haven't
on
you?
the back as well, yeah.
Do you want to stand up and show people? Let's see. Can you stand up and show? Yeah, just stand up and just rotate there on your knee. Oh, right, okay.
Hold on, no, wait there. Hold on, let me.
Yeah, just rotate. Yeah, that's good. I think you only got the small logo on the back though. We had ones at various sizes.
Yeah.
This little tiny logo, and
they can find space here, but I'll try and turn down. Okay,
yeah, we can just see it. You got the little tiny one. We got one that goes bigger. You know, kind of looks like a bikey logo. Yeah, it looks better if you're in person than it does on the big screen. But that's what we got there, the original logo. But now Lex is reorganizing.
It's a high quality material as well.
Is reorganizing it to make it a wee bit clearer, maybe come out in print. But he's not quite happy with it still. And of course, official keep the writing in the same direction. So eventually, we might be able to add that up onto the Merc store as well. But yeah, this is the channel, our UFO channel, if you want to come and join it and discuss things. And that's where I post a lot of my investigation material or videos to vet. And then I use parts of it to make a live stream. So we got lots of topics here, not just on UFOs, paranormal, as well as political and whatnot, conspiracies and... have I got the wrong one again? I grabbed the wrong one. That one should stay there. It's just showing me it's not an easy way to move it. Why is it not grabbing it? Go away. There we go. Yeah, but if you want to make some channel art and maybe even make a t-shirt logo that you can give to the channel, we'll add it to the shop if you fancy being a graphic artist. We can do that too. And then you can buy the t-shirt to support the channel with your own logo design on it. So yeah, we're quite flexible like that. But yeah, I have to get Plex to work on that logo to finalize it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Dan, yeah, I can see what you've been saying here. Robert Schaefer, an arch debunker. Yeah. So I don't know. Wish I could offer. Okay. Dan Colbert is filled with delusional stories such as seeing entire squadrons of UFOs in flight and a truck levitating above the freeway. That's true. Betty Hill did come out with stuff like that. For me, though, it doesn't actually affect the original case in any way at all.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure about reading what Dan is saying. I think he's made his mind up that and he's quoting Philip J. Klass as well. Ooh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, like, you know.
Yeah, you got to be careful, Klass.
Jesus, man! Now, if ever there was a shill, it was Klass.
Yeah, everything was according to Mike West. Mick West, I mean. Everything can be explained. But unfortunately, not everything can be explained, unless you cherry pick things. There's a lot of UFO cases out there that You just can't write off from multiple witnesses.
No.
You know, although some of them are cops, some of them are military. Mick
Only
West
one has to be real.
Yeah, Mick West writes them off eyewitness accounts. None of these debunkers take an eyewitness accounts really well. They say that everybody can be mistaken or whatever. Yeah, so I was going to put up my thing on the thing.
You got such a high level of radar visual cases as well. Do you know what I mean? Radar doesn't lie. It can glitch occasionally, but not all there. Not when you've got correspondence from the eyewitnesses as well. And of course, we've got multiple sensors today. I mean, I can't. Oh yeah, it was John Ratcliffe, wasn't it? The guy who was Secretary for Defence. He actually said they've been tracking these things with satellites, and for years and years and years, debunkers used to use that. Why don't satellites get picked up? But why don't UFOs get picked up by satellites? Well, now they can't use that one anymore because John Ratcliffe spilt the beans.
Yeah.
So that's one less weapon in their armory.
Yes. I personally think if UFOs can travel at hypersonic speeds, then you're not going to get a radar ping from it even. You know? Or they've got to be careful if they're traveling at those sort of speeds, right? That they don't crash into anything. And that may be what happened at Roswell, of course. They may have been speeding from A point to B, and they crashed into a balloon called Mogul on the way through over Roswell. And that brought it down, and plus them as well, and they crashed into the second site. I think that's the most believable answer, really, when I look at all the facts and all the different things out there which have been disproven, that fake witnesses whatsoever. But yeah, let's just go through my panel here. We have to do an open line sometime, and we'll get people to come in and talk to us, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely.
That looks like I got. Yeah, we haven't done that for a while, have we? We haven't done that. Let's see if it still comes up. You remember that one? Farmer's Factometer Index bar chart.
Oh
yeah. So Betty and Barney Hill case, a solid 5, wouldn't you say, or what?
Oh, for me, yeah. Yes, for me.
Okay. So if you discount the star map, it still would be a 4.
Oh yeah. That was a necessary embellishment.
Okay, and what was the other thing we had here? Oh, yeah, the Ram, a home run.
Yeah.
This is Mick West. Or Philip Glass. There you go, Mick. In you go. Take that. Poor Mick, he's always getting picked on. Okay, and of course you got the UFO bouncing around the screen here.
Ooh.
So yeah, is it? Not here, it's not. Pushing the CPU, are we? Yeah, 100%. It can cause a bit of corruption. Yeah, just a bit of fun stuff we used to do. I need to, again, if you got any emanations like this that can be converted into a WebM movie, I quite can use it on the channel. with your permission, I will add it to the control panel. So if you want to do one of Robert Farmer running across the screen, go ahead. Chasing what? I don't know. Philip Glass. Or maybe shooting a laser beam at...
Sorry, I was just saying Dan's talking about the website about Top Secret. Actually, it's there's some valuable information on that website.
What's this? I forgot to read. I wonder if you two guns would be into talk about the Out There channel on some of his live streams. Whose live streams?
No. I mean, I think he's asking about the content.
The secret vault he's talking about. Robert, do you know Matthew Williams? One of you two guys would be into talk about Out There channel. I did do a radio interview and it sort of disappeared. I did it like 6-7 weeks ago now, and it was on Radio Wasteland, and it hasn't shown up. So I think they're too scared to play what I actually said out there, which was all factual, of course, and it can be won inside a court if they want to. But maybe they're a bit worried. You like all these things when you're sort of outing people, because I outed
Secret
security
Vault
team.
YouTube channel. I'm looking at it now.
Radio.
I don't know to make this.
Wasteland. Maybe they'll come out this week. I don't know. I'm going to have to go and email the lady again. It's meant to be the organizer.
Okay, I see it has got some UFO stuff on. Yeah, quite a bit.
I don't think I've been added to the YouTube. I know they got a iTunes and all that. We'll just check to see what's coming up. It's got William Paulin. They like William Paulin on it.
Okay.
Maybe William Paulin put them off.
No, you wouldn't do that. He actually gave you a call out. Or was it Venus? Gave you a call out on my UFO page not too long ago. You know.
All right. Okay.
Talking about GUFON attacking people. Basically, she said that how they've attacked respectable channels. That she mentioned your channel in it, Paul.
Yeah, I know, and also I've defended them as well.
Well, no, you wouldn't know that because it was on my page. Yeah, you wouldn't have seen it.
That's not the Wasteland though. That's another Wasteland. There's a two radio Wasteland. Maybe that's a problem.
No, there's Radio Wasteland and there's Wasteland Radios. The one that William and Venus have been on is Radio Wasteland, because they post that to my
Yeah, that's the one that I did interview. This one here, Radio Wasteland, and I'm not on there still, but I think they are further down. Well, they used to be.
Yeah, Dan's on a bit of a mad one here. Nothing does. Well, let me have a look at it on YouTube rather than that. So I can read it properly. Nothing does more damage to the scientific credibility of UFOs than extraterrestrial visitation than liars, attention seekers, hoaxes, and frauds. Never true word spoken.
Oh, here they are.
To be honest, that's all quite true. Do I think Betty Hill is in that category? No, not necessarily. No, I think she did embellish some of the stories towards the end. Yes, the trouble is, Dan, this is like it or not. UFO events and abductions also happen to non-credible people.
Yeah.
The phenomena doesn't just seek out really nice, honest people that tell the truth. It doesn't work like that. It picks on random people, and that doesn't make them. They're never always going to be the type of person that you like to listen to talking about the event. I mean, now look at that Scoutmaster guy, a case from the 1950s. Des Verges, his name was. Well, Edward Ruppelt in his excellent book, 1956 book. Can't remember the title of the bloody book now, but he said this is probably the only time he's told the truth. You know, and the coppers who found him, when the police were called by one of the scouts, I think, turned around and said, "I've never seen fear on a man's face like that." But the guy was a known bullshitter.
Yeah.
But they could never disprove the case. There was trace evidence as well. The Des Verges case, the case of the Scoutmaster. Yeah, Ruppelt's book, UFOs, A Estimate of the Situation, I think it was called. An Estimate of the Situation.
Yeah. It's kind of funny though, the frauds calling frauds out, and it's like Kittle calling pot black or nuts at the moment. GUFON is attacking people all the time. And he's no better. Hypocrites.
No.
And he thinks we're stupid that we don't see that third phase has changed their ways. That's the bullshit. So you probably can just go to their website today now and just pick up the latest video, and you see that they're still peddling the same bullshit narrative, you know. And also putting up CGIs up on their pages, right? And they don't take down the videos. If you see a lot of videos where they have got the CGI mixed in, they still don't take down those videos. Because we just went over it on a search before. We can find lots of crappy stuff where they got double wing plane, where you can see where they've sort of done some crazy editing where the planes got further away and they're sort of joined together various frames on the video, overlapping some clever effect sort of thing. But yeah, they're not the kind of people we need in UFO field that will bring up any video that's sent to them, you know, as a UFO. We're not experts, they say. We don't analyze it. We let you decide. You know, that's just something we don't want. You need to analyze it first, but then bring up the best evidence on page. But if you did that, there wouldn't be much at all, would there? Or you could just use it for examples. This is an example of what people are sending into us. This is actually lens flare. This is very common. We get probably one or two of these sent in a day. You know, if that's something like that, then it'd be educational sites.
There's always talking points. I mean, I won't post anything, Paul. I won't post anything new if there's nothing there to post. This is my particular page. Now there's always old UFO cases to put up. But if there's nothing new, if there's no really good articles, and there's no really good cases, well, I'm not going to post nonsense. You know, I want to keep it to valid stuff.
Yeah.
Not the last stupid video that Third Phase of the Moon have put out.
That's
because
right.
Then I'm gonna lose members. I'm going to lose the good ones.
Yeah, unless you're using it like I do, like a learning exercise. So this is why it's a balloon, or this is why it's CGI. Seems to be most of the case now. Most of the ones have been reflections and CGI lately, actually. Now I think about it. And of course people will now use them for a laugh, right? Like someone films something on their security camera, they send it into them, and they talk crap about it, and they just have a good laugh at them believing it's a UFO when they know it's off their security camera, it's a bug or whatever. Yeah, I wish we would focus more like we did today on the Betty and Barney Hill case. You know, they're the stuff. Although it's old hat stuff, we want something a bit more fresh, unless there's more evidence that comes to light. But yeah, I think there's going to be more talk when his book comes out. Trash Talking, Stanton, Star Map, and all that sort of stuff.
Oh yeah, but that's what it's going to be. It's going to be trash talking.
Yeah,
it's not really of interest to me. It's a shame that people have to sell their books on. I mean, if you wanted to have a go at every hoaxer and every liar in the field of ufology, then you're never, ever, ever going to run out of material. No way. If you're only trying to publish what's valid, yeah? I mean, I've heard 100 stories from Anglesey, but what I want to publish, if I eventually get around to it, has got to be good, valid material that I think could honestly believe could be something anomalous. I don't want to just publish light in the sky stories.
Hey, John, how's it going?
Yeah, John Toussaint, my God, hello, my friend.
I can't even remember what he looks like. He keeps wasting away every time I see him. He's like a stick insect.
I don't know. Are you still on my UFO page, John? Because I haven't seen you on there for a long, long time.
Yeah, he knows how to diet. I'll give him that. I put on weight during lockdown, and he loses it.
Yeah, he comes back as well every time. Fair play to him. But no, sure. You know, I think cases of alien visitation are like far from everyday events. Or they could be, but we're just not seeing them.
Yeah.
I think even if you took the best 5% of cases, you could probably narrow that down to 1 or 2%. You know, with close scrutiny and further evidence, if you like. But there's some cases that just deny all logic on every front.
Okay, everybody's signing off now. Okay, guys.
Yeah,
thanks for joining us.
Thanks,
Dan. It's almost like, it's normally I do live shows about now to about 5, 6 o'clock. So some go, some come around about this time. So yeah, we better sign off here. What are we getting up to? 3 hours, 11 minutes. Considering how rough it was, I was even going to wonder if I could get it going. But like me, I always figure out something, even if it took a longer time than normal to get it going. Like I said, I got a few things to still tidy up. I think some things have lost since I've updated now, but yeah, it should be easy fix. Okay, guys, so I'm just going to hit the end control panel thing that brings up the end credits, and we'll see you again in the future.
See you next week.
Yeah. Which will be October. What would that be? The 5th or something? So that would be right.
Yeah.
4th? Yeah, 4th. And then 11th, I've actually got to go and get a jab, but we're still trying to do a show if we don't have any glitches. And maybe start that one maybe an hour early and do something there before I go off to the jab. Okay, we just I think I'll end early here. Yeah, good night, guys. And donate. You can donate anytime you want to. Don't have to be on live to do it.